Hello, Daisy. I think that's Daisy. And hello to every one of you who are watching us, and welcome back to the VS Gaming CSGO Masters. My name's Helbert. Well, my nickname is Helbert, but the short name is Helbert.
Name is Albert.
Yeah. And of course, I'm joined once again
Well, there's
by Sheep Cow,
sheep cows there.
Hello.
the MVP, and
The real MVP.
the real MVP. And of
She
course,
doesn't wanna
to my far left, Snare. Welcome back again. And of course, PG Helbert.
Is that going to be a thing now?
I think that's a thing.
I think it's
Like forever.
I think it's your name now.
That's
Give us hello
unfortunate.
thirds. Come on, that's this guy. Right, but it obviously has been a very exciting weekend.
Oh yeah.
We've seen some of the. they've spelled it out for you this
They
time.
PG version of Halbert.
I mean, that's close enough. At least they kept your real name in between.
Finally,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been PG Halbert for most of the weekend. So.
And for the rest of your life,
Since-
so...
oh, here we go.
Yeah.
See, Daisy doesn't even agree.
You can have a point for being PG Helbert.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you guys are on.
I don't think at this point points matter anymore.
They do. I'm just resetting you both. to
I'm
zero.
on 1,000. What?
You're both on 0 now.
I'm happy with
Marshmallow's
0.
on 50.
Yes. I'm happy with the full map reset. I'm
That
cool
I
with this.
mean, like, because you were losing. Every loser is cool with the reset. God.
No, only because I like fair competition. You know? I like to even the odds.
A likely story. Right, but it has been a fantastic weekend for CSGO. We've had 2 incredibly action-packed days, and
Oh yeah.
we've had some very surprising results.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to chat a little bit about, we're going to chat a little bit about the results from day 2. For those of you who did not join us, you've missed out. Go back. You should probably just
Watch the VODs.
pretend it's Saturday, watch that, and then on Monday skip work, pretend it's Sunday.
Yeah.
And when your boss gives you a hard time about it in the morning, just show him the VODs and he'll understand.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we started off yesterday, of course, with an epic clash, APG versus XD.
Yes.
And I don't have the score down here for rounds because I instead just written down overtime because that's pretty much
Yeah,
the story
it-
of that matchup.
Both maps went, well, 2 maps went to double OT, and it was insanely good.
Mm.
I mean, you had on the one hand APG, who were, it looked like they were just fighting way too hard
Yeah.
in the beginning, and then the second map they just came back and was like, oh, it's easy, you know.
Yeah.
Then it was just an incredible game.
I think what's interesting about those games is something that we saw from APG throughout the course of the weekend is that like the longer games went, excuse me, the better chance that they seem to have actually of handling the game. The one map that they lost was, I think they lost on Nuke 1610. So I think that's that's how APG lost. And the longer it went, the more difficult for us to actually overcome them.
Yeah.
We even saw yesterday in their games against WRG that the best way to take them out is do it quickly. If you don't do it quickly, APG was able to stretch it out, make it very difficult for you. But it was super action-packed. A very long, hard-fought series, but it required a lot of longevity, a lot of fatigue ended up taking over. But at the end of the day, it was still it was good CS. It was nice to see. Yeah.
It was very good, yeah.
And moving on, we had, I think it was DC versus XTC next,
Yeah.
which DC, obviously, since they're still here, managed to best XTC. It was also at 2-1, so a pretty decent series as well.
Yeah.
Then APG had their opportunity to go up against WRG,
Yeah.
in which WRG managed to take them down fairly convincingly in the end.
Yes.
The only 2-0 of the lower bracket thus far.
Man, it
Yeah.
sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Sounds good. And then, of course, and this one is one that's pretty interesting. Energy taking on Bravado Gaming.
Yeah. Last game last night.
I mean, the viewers, we had the stat in, it was about 65% or so in favor of Bravado Gaming.
Yeah.
But a lot of us here at the venue, a lot of the players and teams were either saying it's too close to call or supporting Energy. So none of us expected a 16-3 there.
No, it was, you know, although it was a rough game to watch in terms of how one-sided it was. Just, I remember sitting in the stands watching Energy walk out to shake Bravado's hand. And they were all smiling, like, you know, okay, guys, you know, we lost, but let's move on and we can look forward to tomorrow's games.
Hopefully that is a sign of things to come. I mean, obviously what we would want to see is should Energy make their way back to the grand finals, that they'd be coming back with a vengeance and really looking to actually dominate Bravado, nothing less. And let's hope that is the case.
Well, remember as well, that means that Energy plays a game or a best of 3 this morning before, if they win, you know, before going into the final against Bravado. So if we do see Energy win the lower bracket final, it means they're going to have warmed up and Bravado will be coming in cold, as per se.
Maybe that was the strat. Maybe like
Do you think it's really worth giving
Yeah.
away a one game advantage?
You,
though?
you feed in the upper bracket and you're like, come on, guys, we need to practice what we've been training. Maybe they feel Bravado's been boot camping more, so they're like, okay, guys, we need an opportunity to actually play online, get used to this LAN experience. So they'll only have one game. We'll have 4 games. And then they'll probably like feed the first game today and then come back, win 2-0 afterwards. Yeah, this is the plan. This is the strat. I can see this happening. Because like you said, actually, like, it's been a long time since I've seen a team, especially a top team, get stomped that hard and look like it didn't affect them at all. Like they came out, they were like, okay, they almost looked, I don't want to say unsurprised, but they looked like they were prepared for that. Nonchalant. They looked like they were prepared for a result like that. They were like, guys, we gave away their best map, got stomped. It happens. Let's just not do that again.
Because, I mean, it was, sitting in the stands, it was consensus that Cash was Bravado's best map.
Yeah.
By quite a mile. And maybe it was just energy going, okay, we'll play you on your best map. Let's see what you got. Let's see what your strats are. See if we can get any information. And, you know, if we win, great.
Yeah.
But we don't really mind if we lose because we would have got something out of it anyways.
Yeah.
Well, Energy, of course, will still have some work ahead of them, should they even want to have that second opportunity. So they may be counting their chickens before they've come home to roost. Because here's the thing about that, is there's a couple of other sides that still have a say in this. And those two sides, of course, are DC and White Rabbit Gaming, who we've touted as the mini-boss, or the Sagat, and, of course, the challenger. You called him Rayu earlier, right?
It has to be Rayu. Also, Rayu like injured Sagat in the Street Fighter lore. So yeah, DC was actually put in the lower bracket by WRG to begin with. So definitely for them, they want revenge. You know, Sagat wants to prove he's still a boss. Meantime, Ryu wants to actually challenge. Also, one thing that I've been noticing is, as both teams have been getting better over the course of this weekend, right? There's no longer any way you can say who's a favorite going into this one. WRG, I feel, have been coming in with more momentum into this particular matchup, whilst DC still have that solidity. The games they played against XTC was really, really, really hard fought, and that could have actually gone either way, whereas WRG are coming into this having stomped APG 2-0. So I'm sure mentally they feel a bit better about themselves than DC will, because DC have only played very hard, long fought series. They've never really had an opportunity to be like, guys, we are definitely the better team. So I think WRG might be getting more into that mentality as it begins right now.
Well, we're going straight into the map veto. And as mentioned, I actually want to point something out as well. DC, historically, they feel that they're not great on the first match of the day.
Yeah.
So almost advantage WG in that regard. I mean, assuming WG aren't exactly the same.
But you're not too sure we're not too sure if the teams have been boot camping before this. Because I know they've been here for quite a while this morning, already warming up.
Yeah.
So that might have something to play on it.
I think DC should ban Inferno. Like WRG looked super good on Inferno, and DC lost twice, I think. This weekend they lost against WRG initially on Inferno, and then they lost to Southern 5 on Inferno.
But I mean, what haven't WRG looked good on this weekend already? So like that's the question, right? How do you know the other team's map pool good enough to be able to say, okay, well, they played. We didn't know that they were, say, for example, good on Mirage, but they played Mirage like champions. They beat APG 16-5 or whatever the scoreline was.
Yeah.
Then you go back and you say, well, actually, how deep does their map pool really go?
Yeah. So they're gonna have to explore that, and WRG do go for Inferno. Like,
well, I was expecting this from WRG. I actually thought DC would ban it out because we've seen DC play 2 maps on Inferno this weekend, and both were losses.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, one was against XD.
No, Southern 5.
Southern 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 69.
Yes.
So, and then DC get their nuke pick. So that's quite interesting.
What's interesting, because it was Southern 5 who played against DC on Nuke and did surprisingly well. In fact, it was that series where we spoke about how after they left the booth, you could see the two sides looked like they had been inverted. The side that had one looked depressed, and the side that one looked really happy.
But I mean, at halftime, Southern 5 were up 9-6. Granted, they were on the CT side of Nuke. But DC just came back stronger in the second half. They only gave away three rounds in the second half because it was 16-12.
It ended up 16-12, so only gave away 3 rounds. But I'm pretty sure they didn't want to give away those 3 rounds.
No, that's where I was getting to. You know, DC looked like they thought they would do better against Southern 5. And then last pick is Cash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting set of maps.
I kind of feel like this was almost, we could have read this like a book.
Yeah.
Like this is the map that we feel that WG are most comfortable on, the map that DC are known for, and then Cash has almost been like the even grounds for this tournament.
For this tournament,
it's going to be interesting. I don't know how I feel. It's going to be really hard to predict the winner on this.
Hey man, I'm on the Ryu hype chain. I'm on the WG. Beast God. He's been really, really, really impressive. this entire
So I'm going
weekend.
to take that as a WG2-0 predicted by Snare.
No, not
Yeah, he said that. We heard him.
2-1.
We heard him
Right,
say
so
2-0.
let's go there,
DC
guys.
Nuke is too strong. So I think WRG win Inferno. I think they're too good on that map. Nuke, DC is too good on that. And then Cash probably goes the way of WRG, I feel. So I think 2-1 in my estimation.
See, this is so WRG,
Yeah.
I'm going to go the other way.
Okay.
Maybe
so
this is a mistake, but I feel, DC, it was a best of one. They said themselves they aren't comfortable on best of ones. So maybe that win from last night from WRG, the 2-0, gives them a bit of momentum. But I think Inferno is going to be WRG's map, and then DC is going to take the clean sweep.
Right. So
2-1 DC.
Okay.
we have a split decision here on the panel. As a panel host, I'm just going to
Ooh,
lie back and not say a thing about it.
Can we get double
great.
points for saying who's
No,
going
you
to have the
cannot.
most kills?
No.
Actually, I like that.
Yeah. I say on DC side, most kills will be Beezus on WRG, and then on DC side, Explicit's going to be my MVP.
Okay.
Why do you get to go first, though?
No, I'm just seizing the momentum before I have to agree with you. I've learned over the course of the weekend.
I'm going to plead the fifth on that one.
We'll just lose an opportunity for 2 points.
That's fine.
I mean, okay, very well. Snare, you can get 2 points extra.
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with
Snare, you get a
this.
point for being brave enough to go. There we go. Snare's in the lead again.
Yeah, see, this is you gotta take the opportunity, man.
Oh, man.
Marshmallow gets the 2 points that Rico has opted out of. So once again, we find ourselves in familiar territory. Rico 1-0.
I feel like I'm getting ganged up against, man.
I feel you should make your prediction.
Okay, can I make my prediction now and get my points back?
No,
No.
it's too late now.
Please, sir. Oh, mighty beard.
How badly do you want it?
Pretty badly.
Okay, so give me your predictions and I'll consider it.
Okay, I think we're going to see Instant topping the logs on DC. And Hulky's coming in with a surprise on WRG.
Okay.
Hulky's also been performing pretty well.
He has. He's
Yeah.
been doing really well.
What I've been liking to see from APG, not from WRG, sorry, is how they're still a relatively young team, and it's kind of scary to think about the fact that they only get better, that there's the trajectory only increases from here on out, and throughout the games that we've seen, the only teams that they really looked like they were shaky against or struggling against were the top teams. So they struggled against DC. They lost to Energy. What was the Energy? Yeah, they struggled against DC, lost to Energy, but haven't looked bothered since, really. They haven't looked like really challenged since then. So DC is going to be the next real big test for them.
Yeah.
But they've done it. They've accomplished it. And basically, actually, now that I think about it, it's all rematches from here on out for WRG. The only new competition that they might face today is Bravado,
Yeah.
if they should beat DC
If
at
they
Energy.
should beat DC and Energy.
Yeah.
I think as well, like, if we see the same performance as we did in the first game,
Yeah.
we're probably going to see overtime on Inferno or Nuke.
Overtime. Oh, that was the
I
word of the
definitely
day
think
yesterday.
so because these teams are very closely matched. I mean, it was seeds 4 and 5. Theoretically, the closest seed, the closest matchup we've seen all weekend, and I just think that these teams, if they both come to play and they both bring their A game, and both teams are on fire, then we'll see some overtime and some good matchups.
So DC was seeded 4th, right? And
Yeah.
WRG seeded 5th.
Yeah.
I just thought about the fact that WRG eliminated the 2nd seed. Was it XTC or APG was
APG.
2nd? Yeah.
APG, yeah.
So WRG eliminated 2nd seed and DC eliminated the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
And so both of them actually looked technically punching above their weight. So if
I mean,
that
Bravado.
Yeah,
7th
well,
seed.
seventh
sadly.
seed.
7th seed punching way above its weight.
Yeah.
But if taking that into account, that means if that format continues into today, that means that technically WRG should win because they're seeded lower than DC. if
Well,
this trend
let's hope your
continues.
predictions come true.
That also means
Yeah.
that we'll have WRG, technically speaking, beating. Oh, if they were to make to the finals, beating Bravado.
Bravado.
No, they'd lose to Bravado because they're seeded
7th.
higher than them. Yeah. So Bravado, if everyone keeps beating the higher seed than them,
Oh, I see
that-
what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then Bravado would beat them, which wouldn't be that much of a surprise. But
No.
I'd still be excited to see a WRG Bravado final.
I must say, I think it's a win in its own if you can get to the grand final as a side such as WG or DC. You're obviously for WG it would be far more impressive, but DC has been, I think, a 3rd place finisher quite frequently now,
Yeah.
and I think that should they manage to finally break it and get to that final, we will see Sagat take on Akuma, as it were.
Yeah.
It would obviously be just a feather in the cap immediately for that.
Yeah.
And I'm also wondering if DC and WG don't have a sort of odd advantage, because the way we've spoken about it is pretty much how everyone's talking about it. Bravado Energy, but
Yeah.
but Energy aren't there yet. So
No.
if another team were to make it there, it could be quite awkward for these sides who've been prepping for Energy or for Bravado to
Energy,
be there, or
yeah.
for Energy who's trying to get past these sides to get
Yeah.
back into the grand final. You never know in these environments. You don't have to be the best team. You don't have to be the best player. You just have to be the best in the day.
Yeah. And I think that's one of those situations whereby Energy, it's very clear Energy has been preparing for Bravado pretty much in its entirety. I'm pretty sure they came into this tournament with the mentality of, look, guys, we just have to know how to beat Bravado. Everybody else we should just be able to beat. So the likelihood is there that they haven't necessarily prepared for DC or WRG. So they might have the advantage of just being the dark horse, being the underdog. Not if your opponent doesn't know what to expect, then you can surprise them.
Yeah, I mean, look, WRG here, they've got to look. Let's not beat around the bush. They've got a very hard road ahead of
Yeah.
them. They've got DC, and then if they beat DC here, they play against Energy.
Yeah.
And it isn't an easy road. But if they do get past DC here, I think it's going to give them a lot of momentum, because that would be the second win for them in a row.
Yeah.
And looking at that might just be the momentum that they need to beat Energy.
Yep. I just want to see Ryu unlock the dark skin by beating Akuma.
No.
I'm happy.
Right, well, let's see if either of these sides have it in them to do so. Of course, before then, they'll have to go through each other. So, without further ado, let's send it over to our casters. Gentlemen, Congo and Goals. Enjoy, guys. I'm sure this is going to be a cracker.
Thank you so much, Hellbird and the boys on the desk. And interesting first map pick, Goals. Inferno. DC showing a little bit of confidence, and they pick what would arguably be their strongest side.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a bit surprised that DC still eliminated Overpass. They've been doing it the entire tournament, and they actually had a strong showing on it. I feel like this will, just to touch on briefly, I feel like this veto went the way of DC, but their map pool is slightly deeper, so I'm going to favor them on this one. But yeah, into the pistol round we go.
Yep, they said last night, after watching WRG just absolutely tear apart APG on Inferno as well, in the hands of B-God, Mr. Beezus himself. And DC seemed, they were all sitting in the crowd watching, and they're like, you know what, we're going to take them back on Inferno, because Inferno used to be our map. So let's see if they can bring that back. And it was Fat Cakes last time. We were talking about top ragging. Nice little push. Hellhound gets tagged up immediately in apartments, and that's pretty good. Nice little pre-fire around the corner. Staldo holding his crosshair, and he's hit the first, gets the first score, he'll be able to get the second. He's spraying, or he's clicking as hard as he can. Does open up with at least one frag there, but now there it is. They're trying to split through CT. It's going to be a nice pick for Ensign. 3v2 right now. Bomb sitting in CT spawn. They heard someone running. Explicit needs to be careful here. Fat Cakes has his number. Watching him push through the apartment here, but falls back. Rightfully so. They've got numbers. They've got 2 on A, and they've got 1 on B. Oh, nice shot by Fat Cakes. Now there's options. Heads back towards the A-bomb side. It's Hellhound there, left alone with 3 HP, but he wants to just get that one tap, and it's doable with the USP Goals.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I mean, they've kind of stuck in between each other here, and it looks like they're moving back towards middle. So Apocalypse doing the right thing about moving back, but they're going to double peek him, and it could end up being. And he's going to run straight. He should run straight towards B and try and get the plant. But I wouldn't be surprised if Hellhound just rotates straight away.
He's doing just that. He got the information fed. And he's going to try his best to shut this down. If he can get the... Oh, no. He went back for a kit. Smartly done there.
Yeah, good communication. They're coming out from the team, just, telling him where the kit is so he can, take it really slow. I mean, if he delays his retake here, he could make Fat Cakes believe that he's going to come from Banana. And, but yeah.
Oh, yes! Hey, Hellhound. Just what they needed.
Early dink in the round, and, the man just takes off heads, whether he's on 3, whether he's on 100, so there he's smiling into the camera.
He's laughing at the crowd. He's cheering him on there. But what a pre-fire on that corner. I mean, Fat Cakes was the one, who absolutely tore DC apart.
Yeah, look, what I saw there
on
was
the first map.
As they were breaching up middle, they went towards N2, and it looked like as soon as they got the pick, they decided to change it up and actually go through CT, and that's where Instant punished them.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they just carried on with the rap that they had planned, Hellhound was sitting on low HP, they knew that they had dinked him, and it would have been perhaps slightly more successful. But here we go, DC with some aggression in middle, but not really committing to it.
Yeah, they're still throwing those deep nades down in Banana. They what happened to them in their previous showdown on Inferno? They just got absolutely punished on that B bump side, but not to worry. Fat Cakes once again taking control here of the apartments. He's got the Tech 9. They'll get the bomb plant down, and quite a nice little buy coming out as well. Not really putting too much into the bank. Well, just going to stick it out for that third round. Big buy coming out against Damage Control, but they're pretty much just holding it down to get the smoke down as well. Now it's going to slow them down even more. And it's just this B bomb side again, where pretty much all the focus is going to be for this game. Nice pick there by Explicit. Takes down Fat Cakes in that house. But he was pretty much the only one there. You see that bomb making its way back up and down there.
You can see the WRG guys are just, falling all the way back towards that banana. They're holding it very... And Sinner wouldn't... I would be surprised if he just goes up middle, creates a presence, and perhaps pulls a rotation. But DC should be wiser. They should just stay, stick it out, get to eat their frags. And Apocalypse having a field day on banana.
Yeah, they came ready this morning. I think this has been probably one of their more scarier appearances at the tournament. Damage Control. Just being in the low bracket so early on, I think they just want to make it out and claim their rifle spot at third. But WRG, if there's any team that's going to stop them right now, I think it's WRG. They're just looking so strong, especially after their performance last night. But we'll wait for this first gun round to go. That's going to be it, yeah. No AWP on Beasts yet. So he was pretty much the AWP guard last night in their game against APGs. Absolutely tore them apart. So no AWP on visas just yet, so wait for him to get that up. But nice little healthy bar coming out here from White Rabbit Gaming. Not a lot of utility though.
Explicit again was a very, very aggressive nade down middle, and any sort of, if you push up that T ramp, you're gonna get naded if it's either from banana or up the ramp. So yeah, DC standing, getting those deep nades in, and now just smoking more deep banana, taking that control away from WRG, and allowing them to just wait it out and have a lot of control just generally across the board. But WRG do seem to be moving into the house area, and we know this is an area that DC don't really ever take control. So they get this for free in a sense.
This deep smoke as well into banana, it's something we didn't actually see against DC's game against Southern 5 when they played them on this map, and Southern 5 just ran up banana every single round. We didn't see them push.
And this is why
deep.
they're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they saw the benefit of doing it when they had to actually play against it, and they decided to adopt it, work on it, and now they bring it out in their game. And this must be a surprise for WRG if they watch the games from yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing as well. DC were watching, but out comes through the smoke. But Fat Cakes actually takes it against Style. That's one frag at least on that A-bomb site. And Twisted and Halan still there. But running across gets taken out. And this is WRG on their first gun round doing so much work. They've taken down pretty much all. Even had a powerful gun on DC is now down. There's the UMPs left up against these 3 AK-47s. But we've seen magic on this A-bomb side before. People just absolutely ruining each other with these close angles you can take. And the UMPs, one of the guns that can do that. So nice little flashbang comes in. Does flash out his teammate. Nice, nice. Yes. APOC. This is what I talked about. These close angles on the A-bomb side. Now they know where the final person is, and it's going to be quite a top one. And nice pick there by Synoptical. Makes it 2-1 and close, but no cigar goals.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't really know what happened there, because it felt like, once they got the pick in middle, it felt like when they switched, there was a slight bit of miscommunication, because they had a double ditch, and when they're breaching A, it's one of the strongest setups you can have, but Explicit for some reason, kind of knifed out and ran towards N1, almost as if he was convinced that all of them were committing to the wrap, and he lands up getting caught out very, very, easily, and Hellhound eventually gets overwhelmed by the 3 players that are rushing, and there they have the A site. Nice retake attempt there from APOC, but unfortunately that little headshot angle like that on low HP, it was a very difficult one to win. So WRG with the more powerful weaponry land up taking that round.
Hulkies with an unfortunate disconnect there, and again wanting to get back in, get his rifle up as well, but Damage Control definitely off to a better start here, but even on their first map against WRG, they were doing considerably well when they played them in the winner bracket. They had about 12 to 10 rounds almost on their first half, and then WRG just came back and tore them apart. So, DC definitely need to go from the get-go, just stick to it, give it 110%, because if they give any room to WRG from this point out, it's going to be Fat Cakes on top once again, and of course the B guard, who's yet to get his AWP up.
Yeah, look, I mean, WRG have definitely impressed me this land. I mean, they've shown up there in the top 4, and DC won't, shouldn't take that for granted, that they are a more experienced team. And even though, like you mentioned, it is DC time, it's a nice 10 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
The guys are fresh, been up for hours already.
Yeah.
So I think, this is looking to be a really, really good match here. So Yeah, DC, I like that they adapted towards that banana aggression. But with that being said, normally, historically, what you do is you get that deep banana smoke down. But what that does is first it allows you to get that information with little to no risk, but most importantly, it allows you to get that rotator, towards A. I mean, you're pushing them towards A, so you want the additional player towards A. So, they kept him there in banana, and once it was an unfortunate mistake on the A side, but even though it happened, it left A really, really weak, and they capitalized. So I'll be keen to see in this gun round what DC have to change up.
I'd personally like to see, if they are going to go for that deep banana smoke, I'd like to see some aggression in apartments as well, because then they can really shut down a lot of map control for White Rabbit Gaming. Then you're forcing them into mid and second mid, and then you can have your styles on the side, your apocs there as well, just tearing them apart as they try and get into that middle. Sorry, not the APOC, it's style and explicit, I think.
Yeah, explicit loves that
middle
boiler room, middle area. Yeah.
Explicit on the boiler room. So, you're giving them very little room to walk around. They can't go up banana. They can only pretty much go through mid and second mid. And there, you can just pick them off like hotcakes as they come out pick them out like fat cakes, as they come out of mid. But,
look,
but yeah.
I agree, man. Like, I mean, I even said yesterday that they, I feel like they really need to just try and get some sort of, even if you just push that apps and you get picked off, like at least for the rest of the half, the terrorists need to be concerned with the possibility of you pushing them. And I mean, judging if WRG watched yesterday's games, which I'm sure as hell they did, they definitely have picked up on that. And they wouldn't, first of all, they wouldn't expect it at all from DC. And so it might catch them off guard, and DC may be able to capitalize. But, I think they generally just pretty chilled with walking into that house and having control of it. And I can tell now that it's giving that free control for absolutely no, like I said, it's free
They're
control.
not expending utilities to breach the house,
Absolutely
nothing, because they know DC just aren't interested in taking a duel in that house. So they're pretty much walking in there, getting the map control, pushing DC back into their sides. And I'm not saying it's not saying it's a bad thing. DC do like playing from the sides. Hellhound loves just sitting at the back of pit with his rifle and just taking off heads, and there's nothing against it. But when you're putting so much pressure on B, where the obvious problem was in your previous games, where the B was just being rushed and taken apart, aid that with a little bit of pressure on apartments.
But I mean, that's the great thing here. So I mean, it was only a real problem of them not taking control in the house at all when they weren't taking control on banana either or middle. So they literally had no idea. They were just basically just sitting 2-3, not even playing 5-man, just holding it out and hopefully that your anchors just hold the sights. So nice little adjustment from them. But we're back into the game here.
Well, I'd say a pretty decent bar coming out here from damage control despite losing that round. They got a couple of FAMAS as well. That's some good utility on both style and explicit. But all the AK-47s and a Deagle for Sinner. And again, now you see them being slightly more reserved with this apartments push. They're still keeping an eye on it, to say. They're still wondering when DC are going to get involved. And Style's a little bit too late on the peak there. That nade could be good. No, they both actually ran away. I thought the one guy was still standing there. But again, now, under control for Beasters. He's joined by an optical. Now, this could be their first, I would say, perhaps successful breach. But again, it's just this house control. And you see Hellhound all the way at the back there in the pit. He's ready. It's not going to bother too much. And noise made right now on the B-bomb side as well.
Yeah, look, if we play one more Inferno game here with DC, it's going to be renamed from pit to Hellhound.
Yeah. They sit back at Hellhound there. And it's interesting because, I mean, he has had success in the previous games and playing from that way through that smoke now. Really tight angle up there. He's got a couple of good spray downs. But obviously that kind of warrants a nice little pop flash coming out here. Oh, that's a big one from Beasters as well. But Style to drop back at it. The answer comes in with another flash from his teammates. And now the next pop flash comes out. But
I really, really like this. They've done it perfectly. They've punished DC for their lack of information. They've made the presence middle. They're moving all the way back to banana. And if they just commit right now and trust what they're doing, they will find Apocalypse alone. So Sinner's doing such a great job here, keeping the DC players. But here comes the rotation back from Incident. Sinner now pulls into that flank role. Should be able to pick off any sort of flank. But Explicit sneaks past him, but he's gonna get the wrap. And
wow.
Unfortunately, Apocalypse and Instant just shutting down that breach completely. But, the idea was absolutely brilliant. I really, really enjoyed that. Some textbook play from WRG. Unfortunately, just the execution, you got to land that shot. And they missed it.
Did they run out of utility there? I don't think I saw a smoke on the cross from B.
There was a smoke, but
Makes
once the combat started happening, then Instant got some spams through
Okay.
and it's pretty easy to see once the AK-47s are guns blazing, and then you can spam through it. So nice recovery there from DC. in my
Maybe
opinion.
I can only imagine both APOC and Instant sat and had a little bit. Oh, look at these
And
nades
he has the banana control. They're so low, and they should get.
Oh, a little bit of a TK there, not a problem. The smoke does go down to breach them, to hold them off a little bit, put it into this breach. And DC definitely, I think B was probably one of their problems. It's going to be a nice win there. But as I was trying to say, I definitely APOC and Instant had a little bit of conversation after their previous games on Inferno. Just looking at that B, obviously that was a little bit of a
duff.
little bit of
I
a
think
cluster there.
That would have been a nice, quad kill there with that grenade if you managed to get it close. But I mean, DC also cutting it very, very fine there. They got WRG got a TK there, but in that situation, I mean, they had the molly deep, they had the molly close, so the terrorists had no option but to push through there. I feel like they should have just held down the ground and just fought them, sprayed them down, and just ended the round like that. Look, I mean, they only lost one player, so not a disaster, but I'm glad to see that they're actually using that equipment to take that banana control, so that if any sort of team decides to rush banana on an eco like you normally would, they're going to get punished for it, and we see that happen right now.
Nice economic game as well from Damage Control at the moment. They're really, really trying their hardest to shut down this WRG economy. And they put them onto the 2 saves right now, so they'll give them to a 5-1 lead on their CT side. And as we've said before, DC comfortable on the CT side as well. Oh, nice little lineup here for APOC and Instant. Just all in a day's work here for these two, but now Ulki's going to be the last to go down on A. And that's going to be another round in the hands of Damage Control.
Yeah, and the eco, becoming very, very solid. Apocalypse with a lovely, lovely spray down. Just the timing there was a bit unfortunate for WRG, but I mean, 2 guys posting you on the other side of that smoke, you got little to no hope. So, yeah, good hold by DC.
Still no AWP up for Beasts. This is starting to become a problem right now for WRG. That was his power cannon last night was definitely that. Nice little smoke, deep smoke as well again. Interesting one. All these new smokes I'm getting to learn right now while watching, well, starting to cast Inferno again. But nice little deep one going down there. And this kind of I've always liked this triple up on B for the first round, use your utility, then sort of fall back. And it's worked in their favor as well with that rush that came through. But again, Hulky's now taking control of apartments. It's a buy round here. WRG full AK-47. But he has Mr. Boiler himself. Nice little flash, but no one there. Oh, actually no, Hulky's was behind for ages. What is the plan here? We're going to see our first big A breach here. Oh, Star with the orb. This could be a treat. Switches out for the... Oh no, he can't do it. Going to be brought down by Fat Cakes. That's the AWP down. So now breaching, trying to get onto this A-bomb side here. They do trade the explicit takes down Sinner. They are wrapping quite far around, and now there's all these corners here in the...
Oh, but Alan's going to cross cover him from ditch, and he's doing a superb job. Yeah, I wouldn't be... Oh, that's very, very unfortunate.
Trying to hold on the spray there.
He lands up leveling it down. DC caught it in a very, very bad situation there. Style getting overwhelmed. Splits, the same thing happens, and now we're left in a 2v2. Very, very winnable from both sides here, but quite a strong post-bomb position from WRG. Oh, and Instant with just a sweet double tap. That was beautiful stuff. Even though DC didn't really punish WRG with the AWP over there, with Style unfortunately having to get pushed back. I feel like WRG, now that DC have put the AWP on the table, I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they full eco here, specifically the AWP, and they try and get an AWP up and get some sort of opening pick on either N2 or N1, because Explicit and Style are peeking those angles. So I think it's the best way for them to get a pick. And obviously, I mean, so far they haven't really had success getting those opening jewels or commitments successful for them. So, but I mean, they've gone with an AK galley mix-up buyer, and yeah, they're really, really keen for a round. Let's see what they do here.
But are they getting stuck into that economic hell where they're just forcing up people, try their best to get whatever they can for every single round, instead of just going straight into a big buy, getting the offside, getting all the utility out as well, and kind of playing to your strengths? I mean, what they did there to Style was perfect. They rushed him down, brought him down, pushed him away from that archway with their WP, and he couldn't get the picks. And I guess the same could be said about pressuring them once again, but just maybe challenge with the AWP as well. But Style once again picks up the AWP, so Yeah, I've got a couple of numbers here on A.
I
but
really like what they're doing here. They're doing a full-on apps breach. They're flashing out the window, and they're going to catch this guy and ditch all alone. And it's just a matter of whether you'll be able to. And you see they've punished them here. This is brilliant by WRG. Lovely read of the game, and they've picked out the weakness of damage control, and that is that they're just posting middle from either side, and they've got one player on ditch.
Yeah.
There's no threats of house control, so they can literally just sneak all their 4 players in there. They can throw all the util in the world, and they can punish that ditch player. And they've done that, and once they get into that ditch, they're posting the angle 4N2, and AWP, AK, rifle, pistol, doesn't matter. You know, you're posting it from ditch. It's one of the strongest positions on the map, and they managed to take it away from DC. But with that being said, DC sitting with a very, very good economy, and again, it's not about this round, it's about the next one. If WRG don't convert the next round, they're going to be in a lot of trouble financially, and that's gonna put a lot of pressure on them moving into their CT half.
Yep, they don't want to give away too many rounds of damage control, because while they do favor their CT side, their T side is also something to be feared in South Africa. So, still, just the AK-47s all round. They weren't able to steal that AWP off APOC. Sorry, off Style, who maintains it, and yeah, pretty strong economy. Ensign, top fragging, as expected.
You called it. I believe one of the panelists called it too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ensign, top frag. No, they said explicit. They said explicit.
They said explicit. I think something else.
Well,
I'm not sure.
It's Ensign once again, always at the top. Guy who's gone back on form. He's been away for quite some time. It's quite exciting CS to watch. But now, are DC going to eventually do something about this house control that they're giving up completely every single round? I mean, they've held their own with keeping just away from house. They've done what they can, but this 4 position right now from Hellan is what I was talking about earlier, where he's able to get, he has in the past gotten some really good spray downs, and a couple of members in the house right now, but that bomb hasn't really made any sort of movement towards. I mean, it's being held back in the house for the time being, but look at that, pretty much all.
But I mean, this is very, very
straight
slow.
line.
This is very, very slow from WRG. I mean, DC aren't going to push further than that banana, but they've already got so much information. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, DC look like they know where WRG are going, and it's going to be up to Style to convert these frags. Yeah.
One player got out on balcony, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was just, sorry. It's up there, but oh yeah, they come out right now. They've been pushing Style explicits there as well. Takes down one on. They cross out, but that's both down right now. But look at Ensign, all the way from behind.
Beezers with a huge play there, double Ensign. Oh, and Ensign just goes wild. Very low play and ditch there. So APOC on the flank, a very strong position. He can definitely catch the WRG guys by surprise, especially. Oh, he takes a little bit too long to convert the frag there, and yeah, WRG managed to get that consecutive round. They're not affected by the curse, the age-old curse of the weekend, and yeah, they've managed to tie that one up together. And even though Inson's economy is sitting very, very strong, the rest of the team are not fortunate enough, and he's going to have to pretty much use all his cash to sponsor his teammates. So yeah, this round is a very, very big round for damage control. If they don't want to let this T side get a little bit out of hand, but I mean, with the new adjustments on Inferno, it is a bit more T-sided, so not too much of an issue. If you're trading rounds here, any sort of 8-7, 9-6 half, either way, you're pretty happy with, from both sides.
When we look at the buy coming out from WRG as well, it's you got 2 MAC-10s and SMGs and only one. Not much. So the economy was dented. They weren't completely reset, but the economy was hurt.
No, I think they've made a misread here on DC's economy. I mean, they assumed that DC would have to save here. Well, if they had to buy, they would be quite low on money. I don't think they expected the amount of money on an instant. So they're taking advantage of the fact that if they did get Colts, they would buy no head armor because they would be fearing AKs. And unfortunately for them, DC have got every single player's got head armor. So these MAC-10s and the UMP are going to it's going to come into question later on in the round. So I mean, let's see if that plays a role.
Well, they've heard the Colts now, so they've got a panic station. At least one. They've heard at least one on the B bomb site. So
I think they're happy about that. They must think, well, if they've got the Colt, they definitely don't have the head armor. But that's when they get that first ding. That's when the surprise is going to occur, and that's when the panic will set in.
Well, Ensign been having a fantastic game so far here on this B bomb site. And they come. Ensign spending a lot of bullets. They heard the dink, but they didn't convert the frag. And now they see that they've all got guns here on their site. Look at that.
I mean, this is where the weakness comes in. I mean, I feel like if AK-47s were had in those scenarios, they definitely would have, I mean, APOC in the beginning should have never have got that sort of damage,
Yeah.
that sort of damage dealt, and yeah, really that was a big misread of there on the economy. I wouldn't think there was any reason for them to have to go for Mac 10s. Very cheeky, and yeah. Looks like they've paid for it, but not too much stress. They do have a little bit of bucks in the bank,
Yeah.
but the economy is reset, and they perhaps need to consider just buying a couple of pistols and then investing fully into the next round.
Well, are we finally going to see the AWP coming out here on WRG? Could be, possibly. No, someone decides rather go for keep the AK-47. But I guess Style's not looking to it. Style hasn't really had a great game with the AWP, so I guess that kind of potential, looking at an opposition AWP who's completely opening up the game for your opposition, then you might look for the AWP to challenge that.
100%.
But Style is not. I mean, shame. I'm sad to say this, but Style's not having a good AWP game. So I mean, for Beezus to pick up the AWP, it's just not. It's not necessary. And like yesterday, he was facing up against Kasparov and the likes with the AWP, but today it's just he's happy to keep the AK-47, and they're doing some good work as well with the kind of quick reaches and taking those close angles with the AKs.
Yeah, look, I mean, generally that's when you do want to pick up the AWP. I mean, we saw yesterday with PVD Energy, Bravado stuck to the rifles up until a point that Energy double AWP'd, and then the next round, they ended up buying AWPs of their own. But with that being said, I don't think it's necessarily Styles, bad game, but I mean, he hasn't really had much of an impact. But I think that's more to do with the fact that WRG are dealing with him. I mean, they're really using their utility well on this N2 area. It's explicit coming in here with the UMP and a double kill. Style cleaning up the second last player there in the breach.
It's interesting. DC are just doing pretty much what they do best right now. They're trusting their aim, especially on some of their rifles, and also of course on the UMPs. But look at this, Hulky's left alone. He has clutched these before. We saw him do it last night, and now he's going to get the plant down as well, converting this into from a 1v3 into a 1v1 now for APOC. But APOC doesn't lose these. But we'll have to wait and see.
Hulky's in a really good position here after smoking off that one. But APOC gets the jump on him. He knows where he was from when that smoke went down. So slight advantage in his favor, and he makes sure that he converts the round.
You're always going to see APOC or anyone left alive grabbing up an AK-47 and throwing it down to Hellhound. I know it's his preferred gun, so I can always imagine him in the comms like, get that gun, get the AK, get the AK. But this was really well played here from Hulky. It's just unfortunate he couldn't take the round in 1v3. Definitely something for the highlight reel. And yeah, there's Hellhound getting his AK-47, obviously telling APOC, get the gun. And he gets his AK. Just a gun that he's slightly more comfortable with, just because of his accuracy. Banking on that one-tap headshot with the AK-47.
One tap.
Here we go, fast breach onto A though. That nade is good. No,
Went
flew right over right.
deep. Yeah.
But this is good though. Very fast push coming out here, and they're just gonna hold it down. Have DC learnt their lesson partially?
But
A lot of damage going down, and very good nade. And look at that, goals just absolute clean up right now.
Yeah, look, I mean, WRG, I'm sure didn't expect to do, very much at all there with that sort of breach. I mean, DC is still throwing the necessary utility to hold the banana control, and they allowing WRG to enter, and as they're entering, they're just cross-firing, and very well played there from DC. This half is starting to run away a bit from WRG. I agree with you. I think they need to bring out the AWP here on Beezus.
Yeah, but I mean, but the thing is, like looking at the scoreline, this is kind of similar to what we saw in their first matchup. This is also was damage control running away with the game, and then WRG just flipped it on its head and won the series. So won the best one. So
Well, I
I'm
mean,
not
he has the
going to
pause,
count
so-
them out there, but yeah, I think perhaps maybe what do you think? A little bit too late. I mean, they could still be looking at a 9-6 finish, which granted isn't the worst. But maybe a round or two ago when they after, I would say the best time for a pause would have been perhaps after that misread, and they still had the economy to buy up. Oh, it's tech. Okay,
Okay, fair enough.
look at us trying to sound smart.
Yeah. Whoops.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I think it still would have been a good time after that.
I think it may be a technical pause, if you will. But that remains to be seen.
Oh no, my mouse unplugged itself. Pause the game so we can talk. No. Definitely time for the AWP, but it's not going to happen now unless someone goes for a dry AWP, naked AWP, goes no armor, picks up the AWP and looks for that. But I don't think at this point, I think DC are happy. 10 o'clock, it's church for them, man. This is church for them.
They've been up for hours already. They've had their coffee, they've had their breakfast.
Inston's gone for his morning run.
Yeah,
got back already.
they've they've been very very busy and efficient at these hours before. So they're showing here that they came to play today. It's been a real rocky road for DC. Heading all the way towards this lower bracket semi-final, and but I was chatting to Hellhound yesterday, and I was saying, you guys are cutting it a bit closer and closer every single time, and he just turned around and said, look, at the end of the day, the win's the win, and
but everyone's also getting better as well. I mean, everyone is arguably getting better and better with each tournament. We're looking at closer games. It's no longer, the winner bracket sometimes facing up against the top seed. You're seeing a lot of guys going 16-4, 16-5. But then as it progresses, I mean, look at the games yesterday. Only one out of 4 best of 3 series went 2-0, and that was the final game of the night, WRG versus APG, which was just a cracker of a game. So things are getting good, man. And I'm really hoping that whoever goes through to face Energy is going to really give Energy the stick a little bit as well. See if they can push them to a third map too. Because Energy, I don't want them to start becoming, because we're going to have 2 teams that are relatively near the top, and then it's going to get to a point where we don't want just the lower games to be exciting. We want every game to be exciting, from the top to the bottom. We want to be close matches here, but we'll have to wait and see who goes through this map here. Right now, tech pause here. Our boy Beaters with a big smile. They don't seem too rattled just yet, because they've been in the situation before, goals. They've been down against DC and won.
Yeah, look, the camp looks pretty stoked. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're just stoked to be here, actually, to be playing for the top. Well, they have a top 4 position, So I think they haven't lost hold of it just yet. They probably have a very very strong CT side. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're that stressed. And I think they're gonna just probably forfeit this round, get a couple of pistols, and then if they can get another 2 on the tee off, it's not an absolute disaster. But that being said, I mean, DC's momentum here is it's really starting to steamroll, but they don't have much of an economy. So one upset round here, and WRG will take the rest of the half.
We're still waiting for one more player to join back in at Sinner. Not too sure what the problem is. Hopefully nothing too serious. Getting back in the... Okay, just a frozen PC apparently. So he should be back in any moment, but I mean, it gives us a chance. I mean, we haven't really talked about the next map coming up. I guess we talk about that while we wait for these players to get back on. It's going to be Nuke as well, DC's pick. Interesting. I mean, if you look at how they're playing on this map, I mean, Nuke is arguably one of their stronger maps, or a map they're slightly more comfortable on.
I think they've got a mound of experience on Nuke, from spanning all over the years, and they're definitely one of the strongest contesting teams on Nuke. And I remember in a scrim not too long ago that they were beating Bravado, I think 10-1, 11-1 or something like that, and they really had a strong showing on it. So they've definitely got faith in the map, and it's also just based on the fact that not a lot of teams in SA actually play Nuke. But I think what the power of this veto for DC comes into the last map, because they got Cash, and Cash is their favorite map. They love Cash. They just don't elect to play it against the teams that they perhaps consider stronger than them. I mean, BVD last night showcasing that Cash is their best map.
Don't go there.
Yeah,
don't
exactly
go there.
that,
Energy.
exactly
Don't pick that map.
And but DC against WRG will be really really happy to play on Cash, and they're going to be really really comfortable on that map. And the fact that they're getting this result on Inferno, I think, takes a lot of pressure off of them. And Nuke's going to be it's going to be tough for WRG. And finally, the Apps aggression. A little bit. You can see they don't play there often because they get caught off.
Hello, look, Styles looking the complete wrong way, but nice little pick there. Look at that dink as well through the balcony there. Doing quite a bit of damage to WRG, but they've just got the pistols, so this, if they get the bomb plant down, that's pretty much all they want. They want that Cash. Nice little flash as well. That pushes Instant, or pushes Style all the way back, but the bomb does go down. Now they're in a 3v4. They've got an okay crossfire here. One player watching the balcony, too, an optical out there, pieces all the way down to the pit.
This is going to become scarier and scarier as the CTs move in from, all the rotations from B have pulled in, and now the guys are going to start hitting the bomb site. There goes the first player.
Oh no, that could go so bad, but Beast is left alone with 4 HP, not going to be enough.
Hellhound with a lovely round there. I think he got a 4K. And yeah, look, I mean, a little bit of a scary situation, but this was unfortunate from Explicit too.
Where was he running? He probably thought Darkroom was still there. He's going to walk into Darkroom and hide there. Nope.
It was very, very unfortunate for him. But I mean, he landed up baiting, and Hellhound cleared it up.
Come on,
cleared up the
Beezus.
site. So, yeah.
Come
Well
on,
played
Beezus,
there
do
from
it.
DC already.
Yes.
Finally, the AWP on the side of WRG.
Hopefully not a little too late. 10-3 at the moment, but
Ooh,
Bees
that even rhymes even further. Nice, Carl.
But yeah, it's getting the later stages of the first half here, but not too late to bring out the AWP for Beezes, and we'll see what he can do, as he did have an absolutely cracker of a day yesterday.
DC are having another go at this house push here, and I think they might be able to capitalize on this. Hulky's moving straight in towards the house push, and Hellhound just holding it down. And I love the fact that they're actually so close from Sinner. Nice spam there.
Well, Synoptical takes Dink as well, but now Beezes with the AWP. This is the match we've got to watch pretty much for the rest of the round here. So you get those quick flicks, and I think once we go to CT, the AWP might become more prevalent for.
Yeah, you'll have to pick it up. You'll have to pick it up to play that into role. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what he has in store. I heard a lot of things about his AWP, so I'm quite excited to see what he can do. Your style with this nade is going to be huge, I have a feeling. And
tags them both.
A lot of damage done there.
Nice little flash follows through as well, but still holding on to this middle control here. DC, I mean, they finally started pushing to apartments, catching them off guard, but look at this. This is the one right here. Come on, Beezes, do it. Do it. I like these changes to Inferno. It's actually really, really awesome. It's like you got a much wider position to work with there, but Explicit does take down Sinner in middle, looking for a little bit of information, trying to perhaps pull a player away from that B bomb site, but DC still stands strong, but here come all the flashes, here come all the nades in. Got one player in low dark coming through. That's going to be one down, and very quick clean up there.
Very deadly crossfire going there. As soon as the smokes come down, the guy CT calls it, and as soon as the gent that was boosted on the steel and in family, once he takes contact, all of those positions just become spammable and tradable, and a very, very strong crossfire held there by DC. And again, I love the fact that they took apartments control in the beginning of the round there, got themselves so much information, pushed WRG back into Banana, and landed up setting up with 3 there. It's really, really good CS coming out of damage control here on Inferno.
Lots of nades again down into Banana. DC have learned their lessons. Ensign, though, does take a nice nade to the face too. He's 144 HP, but again, just look at the aggression. Oh, the boosts are coming.
Very aggressive CS from Synoptical. Just to punish that nice pop flash there from WRG.
Yeah, I mean, they managed to bring him down. They kind of knew a player was there, but now look at this. They forced to rotate one player, or very good media from White Rabbit Gaming. The one player rotates towards that B bomb side, and immediately bomb goes straight up towards middle. It's going to be all on Explicit here to try to bring this down. They rush straight through, bring him down. Fat Cakes again, right up in the front. But now Hellhound needs to get into a favorable position here. They're playing around the smoke. Someone just Hellhound there. Sinner walking around the smoke and picking him off. Style, though, and Ensign left alive here. Driving this down, not looking the right way, does bring down. Beezes brings down Style and Ensign, the last man left alive. Still tagged up from that nade early in the round, and just stepping out Sinner.
Yeah, really good there. Really good there from WRG. They managed to get this first pick on the guy in Banana. They obviously heard him get boosted, I think. And once they do that, they know that DC are gonna. That's exactly what they did. They forced the rotation, and they managed to breach up the middle bomb site. Style managing to get that Molotov off in middle, but WRG committed to the play and managed to catch him unawares there. And perhaps Style should have fallen back, but either way, DC landed up getting 11 rounds on the CT side, and they're going to feel very, very good going into the TF. And I think WRG really need to secure this pistol for us to have a game on our hands.
Oh, big nades coming through. This is the one.
This is absolutely insane. Lovely Banana push there. Really, really well played.
Yeah, nice close execute as well, throwing it down. But Synoptical's chasing already behind you, but they can definitely hear him coming. And he's going to check this corner. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. Explicit doesn't land those shots, but still pushing them back. Lots of flashes. And
I really like what they did there. They threw the smoke off to cut the sight, and they didn't really expect the guy sandbags, unfortunately, not be able to hit the shots.
Nice little clean up there from DC. 12-4, winning the pistol round, and quite an important pistol round as well, because now this is going to push them straight to that 14th round, which is going to be really, really crucial, especially on the CT side. If White Rabbit Gaming start messing around with their economy right now, forcing up or anything, they are going to really, really struggle. I think the only real thing to do here is just not buy anything. I'll just go, as you said the other day, go full James Bond, not buy a thing.
They need to. They're going to have to double save anyway here. No loss bonus adding up. But yeah, it's going to be a very difficult round to try and do anything with.
No, but they're kind of running bodies right now.
Yeah, he's going to go for the fourth, of course. Hellhound supporting him. And yeah, you know, I kind of that round went as expected. So, I mean, let's see what they pull out here. Let's hopefully see a little cheeky 1 deagle or something like that. There we go, Fat Cakes with the deagle. Gonna try and upset some confidence there on the DC side, but you know, this round again, not much to be expected. No armor in any of the players from WRG, and a lot of SMGs coming out from DC. So they're gonna just farm away here. But let's see if I really want a 1 dig in the morning. You know, nothing better than that.
DC are moving with pace through the apartments, and Optical is close by. I like this new little angle you can hold here. I think that's where Explicit was running.
Yeah,
when he got ripped apart. Oh! Come on, Fat Cakes, give us one for the replay. And DC just taking full control right now. Everyone's kind of playing pretty passively in position. Look at B. Also, both guys just boosted up, waiting. And this could actually work so well, goals, if they manage to get through. They just need to be really, really quick with that. Fat Cakes does go down, not going to be able to dig anyone. And there's just one player left on A, but he does get traded out immediately.
Yeah, DC are forced to breach here. They've been, you know, the flank player has received all the information. And DC like blind themselves here.
It's not going to be enough. Both players go down to the B bomb side. DC moving out. First answering with some spray. Synoptical does take down one. He'll farm some cash at least, and possibly look to save that SMG. But it's just Sinner left alive now, or left alone here on the B bomb side. Lands up a nice headshot there, but doesn't connect on Hellhound, unfortunately. Hellhound has a couple of shots, and he finally connects with it. And I would assume Synoptical wants to keep the gun.
I think he would want to try to do as much damage as possible. I mean, he's going to get a rifle next round, and you know, he's already got some bucks in the bank. He doesn't have armor, so you know, not much of a save going on there. But yeah, here comes WRG's buy round. They've got no room to really make any sort of mistakes here. What stresses me a little bit is that Hellhound's, you know, still got that Galil, and 2 of the players on WRG, well, 3 of the players don't have head armor. So you know, that gun becomes extremely effective now with the better rate of fire. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if that you know, ends up costing them. But Beezers with the aggressive peak in middle, something we didn't see from DC on the CT side.
Not often looking for that information, but have a look at this. He's going to spot a gun barrel here. Explicitly, very careful. Nice little peek as well. Really nicely done there from WRG, but they are going to get an answer there, leaving 1 player left alive. It's just style here. And WRG is showing what map control, what house control means.
Yeah, that was a lovely house setup. Okay, so they're playing one at the back, one in the corner here, and one on the stairs, and it's very tradable. But I think, you know, Explicit really had a good opportunity there to kill the guy on stairs and perhaps clear that closer corner. I mean, there's always a chance of someone being there, but I guess because they don't play there that often, maybe they, you know, didn't expect someone to be that aggressive. But judging from last round, you know, the guys were very active in apps, and it's, you know, a bit strange for them to get caught off there. But I think they know now. And
yes, Beezers, he's gonna die, but that's what we wanted to see.
Again, you know, nice idea, but when you're playing on the CT side, you know, to give away that sort of pick, especially when you the most powerful AWP on the team, isn't necessarily the best idea, because
I should say maybe an underhand smoke as well, just to let him get out of there safely, just burn out that molly. So he peeks, gets the shot.
Yeah, I think that's not up to him though. That's up to his teammates, unfortunately. Like he's going for that shot and he made it. But I mean, even then he did commit to the play, and he's given the terrorists technically, you know, slight advantage. Every player that gets cut down, it just favors the T's more and more because your defenses get spread thin. Look at them here, DC all in the middle of the map, and the guys in Banana not opting to get any sort of control, and they committed to the B site, and there's a double ditch setup, or I think it's a graveyard setup and a ditch setup to try and hold down the bomb site. So if DC elect to wrap here, it's going to pose a lot of problems for WRG.
Well, this is a very crucial round as well. They've put everything they own into this round after winning the last. And should they get reset here, it's going to be really tough, because that'll put DC onto the 15th round, meaning 1 more to win. And let's just wait and see. Nice little pick there from Fat Cakes. That's the first one opening up now. Perhaps information's there. Up above. Fat Cakes with a second. Playing from this pit angle perfectly here. Sinner picks up one with the AWP. And again, we see DC falling behind in the 20th round. Fat Cakes again. Pop fragging, as I guessed. No, I just know
not too bad, Congo. Not too bad.
I just know he loves this map and he loves playing against DC, so that's why he's pretty much running away with it right now. But I mean, the panelists weren't too far off. They said Beezers with Pop frag, and he's 1 behind him, so we're getting there. And DC now going to be forced back onto an eco, the first of what could be many in this game as White Rabbit Gaming start that climb back towards the top, and they get back the AWP to pieces, so this is what I like to see.
Oh, super mad aggression coming out here from WRG. I like this disrespect. DC aren't going to be happy after getting pushed like this in second mid, and yeah, they're really, really, stepping up that aggression, and I really, really like to see this. And this is the type of style that we saw out of Southern 5 when they managed to take this map off of them. Is this really, really super aggressive style? But it's calculated aggression. They know, they understand the economy. They understand where DC are and what they're potentially going to do. They understand how they've been playing Banana. So they know that DC are most likely not going to expect them there, and they managed to just run out to second middle and take off some heads. And it's more of a the psychological effect of getting killed there when you're absolutely not even prepared for a fight, and your plan is cut short before you even get to step one.
Yeah.
So I think that it was really, really well played there from WRG, and they're starting to claw and put some rounds back on the board and putting some pressure on damage control.
This is interesting right now. DC players split up here. One sitting in second mid, the other one pushing up Banana, looking for a frag or two. I mean, maybe trying to pull a little bit of attention away from that A bomb site. I think that there are 3 players sort of gravitating towards it. And Style now alone here, 1 man on Coffin. He's actually managed to sneak through. If he can get through into CT, this could be huge. Oh, he's making noise now. It's pretty good though.
But he's pulling the rotations from A. He's got a lot of presence, once he crossed it, but no armor, and he bit of a name punch there cost him. And the textbook out of apps with the bum. That was a nice try, noble effort, valiant effort from Vincent.
Bomb out and run.
It's a good old, I like to call it the Craig Hully play, or Rackno actually. Rackno loves to do that, send his whole team to the other side of the map and jump out of the sneaky palace with the bomb and get some cash. But unfortunately, WRG obviously wiser at this level, and DC now play on the next gun round.
I think it would have been a different thing if they got that kill on B. DC
Another aggressive peek here, but he's gonna get punished. This is extremely, oh my goodness, and he gets out unscathed. What an aggressive play by Beezers, and this is what I like to see, that confidence, that disrespect. Even though they probably respect the team immensely, but they need to get some confidence back and put some rounds on the board.
DC now with a little bit of pace coming out here, detonated down pretty hard, but they did manage to survive. So running on very low HP, time to get into the site here. Backcake sitting in pit once again. Beats is there to pick him up. Sorry, Backcake's in site. Beats is in pit, looking for that next big frag. And 2 players left alive right now, and this is almost exactly what they did to DC in their first matchup on Nuke. On Inferno. So that pop flash was so good by Fatcakes. Caught himself at the end, but it doesn't matter. Still got the frag.
Yeah, you can see Style try to time the shot there as he was blind, missed it by a millisecond. But I mean, he was on very low HP, so a real nice A-hold for the side of WRG. But it all began with that early aggressive peak and getting the wealth of information that they were able to get and just stack that A bomb site. Yeah. And like I said, it was something that DC weren't really doing. But I mean, they got 11 rounds on the CT side, so it's not as if it cost them dearly. But really, really nice aggression from coming out of WRG.
Bees is looking for the bang. Can hear it just yet. That new little wall added in the Inferno. I want to see him get more aggressive with the AWP like he did last round. That was great. Get right in their faces. But now DC with house control.
Bit more dangerous against the pistols, hand style and AWP, give a man a finger, take your map. So gotta be careful there with how aggressive he plays. But we've got them moving up Banana slowly here, and very strange setup here from WRG, banking on full CT. So if a smoke comes out here, unfortunately they don't have it. But
nice boost as well, right up at the top there. But Beezers does reposition himself, getting into the coffin, and that AWP has to pay off right now. But like you said, pistols. Oh, there it is. First one for Beezers. Second one. Oh, no one knows where that spot is. Very cheeky. An awesome hold there from the WRG B players. Beezers with the AWP once again.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's quite a scary thing to do is to just dry run into B. I mean, it was a tough ask to actually expect anything from that area. I mean, up mid, apps, all the same result when you've got absolutely nothing, not even one flash. So DC investing fully into this buy round. They got full utility, full AKs. So let's see what they do here to try and just get closer to that match point, because WRG are catching up here, and it's starting to put a little bit of pressure on them.
Yep, they're gonna double digits soon, trying to get the boost up onto the roof as well. That'll put Knopfskill in a pretty good position, but Where's our AWP man today? Where is Beezers? Also still on B. Okay. No. Yeah, still on B. So not looking for the aggressive once again. I mean, DC are kind of moving mid to second mid quite a lot. They're not putting a lot of early pressure onto that banana, and that's really at the moment it's working out for them. But they did meet resistance earlier when they saw Beezers taking the aggressive peak, both on banana and then of course taking the aggressive peak on second mid twice in a row. They both played. All three players from WRG moved down that second mid in aggressive style, but now they're spraying through the wall here, so they're kind of half expecting that someone might be up there, but Inton's about to join them. Oh no, they're running away now.
I don't know if you noticed, but if you look at, just as you said now, they were very conscientious about banana, and that's because they've shown their aggression. It was the same as House, the terrorists very, very concerned that WRG might be pushing, and oh my goodness, this is so much information for the side of WRG. They should just instantly rotate everybody, and Sinne is on a real strong flank position.
Everyone is pretty much running back. That's going to be a big win. Catches one. APOC goes down. So now the information there. Now DC have to commit because they are cut in half. Nice Molly goes down there. Just keep an eye on Beezers here. He's roasting a little bit. They're going to run into each other.
Lovely. Molly's coming out of DC here, but
let's see. One for Beezers.
When he double tags them.
2 for Synopticals there to back him up, and this is starting to become a little bit scary for DC now that WRG came up from 4 to double digits on their CT side.
Yeah, look, I mean, that was superb by WRG. They made DC so scared of banana and so scared of House that, they really checked every single angle and up towards about, it took them 55 seconds just to clear up to the point of stairs and the bottom of banana. And as they started moving back, WRG just decided to delay that push, change up the timing a little bit, and they ended up getting so much information that it was really difficult for DC to do anything there. I mean, all the support in the world came from the side of WRG, and it ended up making that banana really hard to take. So very well played there by WRG.
Double boost once again up here onto the roof, and this play they tried the last round, it didn't work, so now they're gonna try it again to see if it can catch play out. Once you use that kind of boost, that's it. You use it. It's either successful or unsuccessful. But at the same time, you can't use it again because they're kind of expected every single round from then on out. And they do still have a little bit of room to work with here. And they're slowing down DC almost at this point in the map. You say that when they have DC have to take 55 seconds to do things, it's almost like they come to a complete standstill where they're just kind of unsure of what is going on. Flashbangs raining now towards that boiler into mid.
Yeah, there's still quite a bit of util here on the side of WRG. They're gonna, be able to delay this push if DC don't commit to something, very soon.
This is big. I think you might have seen something there. A very good flashbang comes out, and they take down both the players, boosted up on the side. That's very good from DC now. They have options here. Nice.
This is what I like, is that they're rapping. They're going to put so much pressure on this player in ditch. It's going to be very difficult for him to do anything, and yeah, they're just going to wrap him and take control of the sites. And very well played from DC. Apocalypse clearing guys up from ditch.
Yeah, Beezers goes down as well, so that's the AWP out, and perhaps looking at saving it. Maybe trying to find that AWP there for Hulkies, but this is going to put damage control onto match point, which is onto map point rather, and then it's going to be an uphill climb for WRG. But yesterday we saw OT in our first match of the day, a couple of OTs actually, so I would not be surprised if that happens again. But DC now, what's the economy looking like there?
Oh, they're so strong. They're extreme. Well,
oh wow.
Yeah, WRG at this point, because it's the 15th round, they're literally buying it. They're buying until they lose here. Their economy that's pretty much not really a consideration at this point. They're just going to buy until they lose, essentially, or get to overtime. So, yeah, they still have a wealth of cash in the bank. You can definitely get AWPs, 2 AWPs, 3 AWPs if they want. And, this, what I will like to point out is that if Style, well, I always call Style, I just imagine DC as Style, but if DC don't manage to convert this round, they are on a reset, and then it's looking like we might see ourselves in overtime
again. Synoptical this time picking up the AWP. Maybe Beezers just made a good spawn, but Synoptical does it. Takes down Style. That's already a nice big hit coming out there. One player down looking for that challenge. Now they switch over. Beezers perhaps with the AWP. So it's just a spawn thing there, getting a nice little early pick. And at the same time, again, movement, second mid to mid for DC. Looking for something here. Synoptical waiting for something at least to pop up here, and he might actually find that in-house. We've got both 2 forward positions coming out here, goals, but obviously punishment there for Fat Cakes and Optical. Switching it up here, this could be really good if he does bring out next player. And, I mean, the switching around position is actually working really well. They turned it into a 4v3 pretty early on.
Yeah, look, I mean, that first initial pick gave them the advantage, and it was pretty much just a trade game from there. So, you know, sitting in a very, very good position here. Still a lot of util on both sides. But they've got this they've fallen into this double ditch setup, and they're committing to their basic 2-2 hold, and they're just, you know, hoping that the 2 respective players on each side to hold down what they need to, and they've been doing so. So, you know, that's I'm pretty confident that they'll be able to do it. But I mean, this wrap is really, really important here. But unfortunately, there is a CT rotating towards the A side.
Beezes, they haven't called it yet for Beezes. He hasn't switched position just yet. He's going to now walk around and get it. He gets the first frag. And Hulky's in a good position as well, but they finally do deal with Beezes. 1v3 now for, 1v3 for APOC. But it's not going to be enough as WRG reset damage control, and now we're looking at a 15-11. What could possibly be a 15-13, 15-12 for WRG should they take these next few rounds. And the economy's still looking strong, 11k right there. As you said, they can just keep buying and buying and buying and buying.
Yeah, look, WRG, what they're tending to do here is they're kind of just holding it standard. They take an aggressive sort of shot middle or whatever it may be. I mean, even here, they, again, posting down middle, getting some grenades down. And they just fall back into a double ditch setup, or they play very, very defensive on both sides. And what DC managed to do there is they managed to force a rotation out of B when they were breaching towards N2. Yeah. And I feel like if they just switch that up with a fake, they'll be able to do something. But I mean, they're hitting the B side here with quite a few smokes and mollies, and they seem to be putting quite a bit of pressure here.
They are going to chase them down here. One player left inside, 18 HP. He's going to do his best to keep them apart. There we go. Gets a boost up. Nice little boost going down there too. Grabs up the rifle, but going to get caught across the crossfire there from Hulkies. Now wants to go for it. Dinks up Hulkies again, but it's got Beezes there to help him out. And now in 2v3, but that bomb is in what used to be barbecue. Now coffin. Was that a...
No, he was already dinked. He was already dinked if that's what you was.
I thought that was a molly flying out from a teammate there. So things.
No. And 15-12.
Yeah.
Starting to put some serious pressure on the side of damage control. And you know, the economy's obviously in tatters here. I mean, they've force bought here. They've got AKs, a little bit of utility. I think I don't even know what to recommend here. The side of WRG is just posting up such a dynamic and you know, just a strong defense here on Inferno, and another very disrespectful second.
No, but they're
gonna get punished for it.
This is it. I think that might have been just a little bit overzealous. Their goals, just looking for that, but the right idea. But just unfortunately, DC were kind of wise up. But look at Senators though. This is gonna be big. Spotted. Oh, he's been spotted by APOC.
The timing is so unfortunate there. You know, I like the idea still, you know, pushing down second mid, but again, I think simply put, it was a misread on the economy of damage control. If you looked at the last round, what they did is they committed, they did buy, you know, Tech 9 armor and stuff, but they didn't commit fully to the buy. You know, a couple of the players had 1k, 1.5k left over, and they managed to invest in AKs this round. And I think WRG, again, with a slight misread on the economy, and unfortunately, they go for their second mid push. I'm a big fan, but unfortunately it ends up costing them the final round. And when you're on match point, you know, to take risks like that it takes some good confidence. So
I love how we just stare at bums when they go back to these cameras. Speaking of bums, be back on the camera now. Yeah, I mean, I agree that last little push could have gone so well for them. It could have shut that down and forced DC onto a reset once again. But that just unfortunately wasn't the case. DC wised up to it. They knew that they might be going for the aggressive, going for the disrespect push, as you mentioned. And DC take White Rabbit Gaming's. Take their map, as we kind of chatted about off camera. We said that they confident about it.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm quite stoked that DC have come back and they're still willing to play Inferno, and they made some adjustments. They changed up their banana control. They changed up their aggression on the CT side. So I was really happy that they've gone back, chatted, adapted, and they've come back stronger on the map and are able to beat guys that defeated them on it previously before. All
right, we're going to hand it back over to Hellbird, Recoil, and Snare. Take it away, boys.
Thanks very much, guys. It was getting dangerous there. Looked like WG might just have what it took, and I feel like that's the caster's curse coming, because I was definitely seeing it like, this is going overtime, boys.
Yeah, I mean, we were chatting about it and saying, you know, it looked like WRG just woke up in the latter half of the second half. And, you know, taking 6 rounds in a row off the back of it. So good form there. Just that a little bit of mid-aggression that last round that we just saw. Unfortunately, Goals was just chatting to us about it, saying that it was just might have costed them the game then.
Yeah, it might have just come at the wrong time. It was winning them rounds at a couple of key points. It won them the round just before that in the eco round for DC, but I don't think they were expecting DC to immediately go full kit thereafter. So
Yeah.
they kind of, you could see just from FatCake's positioning, he was not expecting that, then they kind of lost thereafter. For me, the really interesting thing about this map was that not T-sided at all. Both teams actually did worse on the T side than they did on the CT side. Was definitely a difference there. And I think the big change up, I want to know what you guys think about this, but we didn't really see a lot of control around Banana for the T side. It seemed like A side and apps seemed to be the way to win the game. And that seemed to be, especially from the CT side, what actually allowed them to control the aggression. I think DC exhibited that at first with that control, and WRG also caught on, started doing similar things, making sure that they had control around apps, especially around their boost side around A. So I don't know. What do you think that's something we're going to see more of if there's more Inferno in the tournament?
No, I just think that yesterday WRG were posting quite a strong defense on Banana, or not yesterday, on Friday, and I think DC just adapted more to because if you recall on Friday DC was playing a lot towards the B side, taking a lot of rounds up Banana. Poking holes in the B area, and I think WRG went and spoke about it. And look, Hulkies and BSCs did an amazing job there defending B side. Hulkies getting a 4K off the back of it from the boost, and DC just looked like they adjusted and adapted their T side play style to go more towards the A side. I mean, look, there's some executes that they did on A where it was amazing. They got the wraparound. Unfortunately, I think it was Hulkies who was flanking from around the back, got the 2K and shut down the round, but. You know, just the style of play that we saw today, it was nice and aggressive on CT from the CT sides, and good executes from T. Unfortunately, the T sides were just running into what looked to be a wall of defense that the CTs were posting.
It's kind of interesting as well, because I recall us speaking mostly about W being a bit T-sided on this map.
Yeah.
And really, they did put together a really respectable defense on CT. I think
they did, yeah.
They took 6 rounds in a row at one point, and they put another couple up beyond that. So obviously doing very, very well on the CT side.
Yeah.
But this is also their map. And the next one they're going to is, of course, Nuke, which is possibly enough for DC to go through. Do you guys think they can pull this one back?
Look, it is the fact of the matter that it is DC's map pick makes it, and it being Nuke, makes it very, very tough. I mean, yesterday when we saw DC playing Southern 5 on Nuke, they weren't happy. It looked like they weren't happy with their performance, but they got the win in the end. And I think that WRG need to be really careful and go and have a good chat in the locker room and make sure that they've prepared for Nuke and know what they're going to be faced up against. They need to definitely watch out for. I think Hellhound pushing into Secret. I mean, that's we saw that happening a lot yesterday.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about DC, I just thought about it. The only time DC's been involved in a game where the team that picks their map wins was day one. Day one when they played Southern 5. DC have only ever won. They won on Nuke, right? And they picked Nuke. But every other time that they've won on their opponent's maps. And every time they've lost on their own maps.
Yeah.
So is that a trend we see continuing?
Didn't Ian also pick Cash against Bravado?
Yes, Ian picked Cash against Bravado.
No. Bravado picked Cash. Bravado picked Cash, yeah.
Bravado did pick Cash.
Bravado did pick Cash, yeah.
But they left it in, so whatever.
Yeah, they left it in.
They left it in, so I mean...
Good enough.
Good enough.
But it is interesting. Nice spot there, Snare.
Yeah.
To me, it's Nuke in particular though. It's I mean, as you mentioned, it's the map they have won their pick on, and it's the map that we know DC for, and it's. Sorry, I'm admiring my lower third there. I see we're back to our old tomfoolery there, production friends, but. To me, I feel like this might just be a bridge too far for WG. I think that we may be seeing this going 2-0. I don't want it to.
I don't know. If you, in the first half, right, after the first half, or at least in the first half of the first 10 rounds, I would have agreed with you 100% that like DC just looked too good. But I don't know, WG started doing odd things. Just started doing strange things. Even the rounds that DC were winning, right, in the latter half of the game, it wasn't necessarily wins that they prepared for, that they planned for. It was always
Yeah.
wins where they actually had to come up with some big plays
Yeah.
at the end of it. APOC and Incident in particular had to come up in a mighty way in order to actually win those rounds out. So I think that strategically, DC actually might be off kilter, not because it seems like WRG has not that they've thrown away strategy, but they're playing especially this map. We saw how they played this map, right? We've seen it twice now. We knew what to expect from them. And when they started winning is when they did something completely different. So we might actually see them carry that same mentality into Nuke as well. We know how DC play on Nuke. We haven't seen WRG on Nuke yet. So WRG could just play a style of Nuke that DC are legit not ready for and legit not haven't necessarily prepared for. Just a new way to approach the map. Like this, I've never actually seen an Inferno map come out like this, where I think there were maybe 3 or 4 plants in the entire game on B. Very few, like a very little control around that area. It was mostly A dominated, and something you don't necessarily see on Nuke. So on Inferno. So I think on Nuke as well, we might see completely different style of play especially from WRG, and then DC will be forced to adapt to that. So maybe that kind of adjustment might take them a while before they start winning rounds again.
I think what makes DC strong on Nuke is the fact that their T side is very strong as well. Because we know that this Nuke, although the changes may have brought the scales a little bit more into line, it's still a CT-sided map. And you know, you have to look at it, how well can you attack A side, because that's generally, with the new outside area where you can get onto rafters and climb around to heaven, it definitely makes breaching a lot easier if you can get outside control. So I think if DC or WRG make sure that outside control is prior, then we might see an interesting game.
So, yeah, I mean, you mentioned, we were chatting about the performance of DC, but it was Southern 5, yeah, who started shutting down Hellhound when he's coming through the
secret area, yeah. So basically what Hellhound would do is his team would smoke outside area, and Hellhound would creep down into secret and wrap around maybe into vents or go to ramp and get a couple of kills or get at least an entry onto the B side. Then what it was Mr. Fluffyhead. Kenpachi, yeah.
I believe Recall
he's changing his nickname to Mr. Fluffyhead.
So you lost the point I gave you earlier. Recall gets the point for calling him Fluffyhead.
So what he eventually did is he cottoned onto the idea and he started holding secret stairs. And every single round Hellhound would come there for the next, I think, 3 rounds. Hellhound tried to push and Kenpachi shut him down. And when that started happening, Southern 5 started winning rounds. And they started catching DC off guard, because we were having a chat to a couple of the other teams, and they say DC are, you know, they sort of made predictable because they play that clean style of CS that execute slow, patient T side, very patient CT side, you know. So maybe it's something that WRG can punish.
I'm kind of interested in how much attention WRG paid to the Southern 5 matchup, because that might be a key factor in them being able to pull this one back. It's just seeing exactly how DC operate, and I really feel like if that is the key, that sort of vice that they put you in with Hellhound coming on the side, that may be, if you can shut that down, maybe put them outside of the comfort zone a little bit, even if it's just a couple of rounds. Every round's going to count, and of course WG, with their lives on the line here, they have to really pull this one back. We've touted them as our Ryu, but they're facing elimination, and it's a very big challenge. Beating DC 2 times in a row, probably not something they would want to do on a fine Sunday morning like today, but that is the scenario they're left with. And of course, DC, once again, they're performing at a roadblock. You know, they are the roadblock, and they are here again, doing what we've seen them do so many times in the past, and just one game away from doing so.
That being said, though, WRG is now is their back against the wall, right? The first game that they played against DC, we saw them lose the first half, and it was like what? It was like 11-6 or something. Oh, no, 11-4, sorry. But then with their back against the wall, that's when they started coming up. And even in this last game, we saw like they were honestly getting rolled over. And then when it looked like it was just going to be a clean sweep from DC, that's when WRG started performing. So they might be one of those teams that reacts very well to being under pressure. And definitely Beezus is one of those players that reacts well to being under pressure. So in those situations, then we can maybe see them say, okay, guys, backs against the wall, 1 game left. We lose, we're out. What do you have to lose?
Yeah. The thing is, though, remembering that also a lot of people might think, why aren't WRG performing as well as they did in the best of 1? I think we just need to keep in mind that a best of 3 is a different mental game as well.
Very different.
So, you know, DC coming into this, they might as well take take this game. They might take this game 2-0. I mean, WRG, they're not looking in the form that they were in yesterday. Unfortunately, last night it looked like a completely different team to what we saw this morning. Last night, Biersis was on fire. Hulkies was on fire. They were all just playing so well. Synoptical. Today, we didn't really see. Well, this morning in the first game, we didn't really see much. So, what I like to think is that it's just first game. It's his first game of the day. You know, warming up, getting your head back into the competitive mindset. So hopefully we see a better second game.
I mean, at this point, it's basically a best of one for them, right? So they have. I think you can actually approach it in that way. Just be like, whatever, guys, play it like a best of one. Play it as if it's not this long set of games that we have to try and win strategically, but just a game we have to win now. I think there's some teams who do better in situations where they can approach the matchup more holistically, think about what they want to do strategically, think about how to approach different maps, think about what the opponent wants to do. But there's other teams who just like, guys, one game at a time. Don't think about the next game, don't think about the next opponent, think about the right now. DC, obviously, with vastly more experience, have a much greater understanding. Have a much better understanding of how to win an overall match and how to. I think definitely they are, that experience gives them that big match thinking. They know what to do now. They know what to do at this point, right? WRG, I think, throw out your plans. Just like, whatever, guys, go in, win, see what happens.
Yeah, it is definitely comes down to BMT, and DC obviously being the older, more veteran squad, definitely has that. And I think that, look, if it does come down to those close rounds, I'd like to say DC would take them. But we're just going to have to wait and see.
My favorite part about DC, though, is that every game we've seen different players be the superstars. Yesterday, Style and Explicit were performing well. Today, Instant has been kind of consistent the entire time. Day 1, HH was the boss, HH and Style. Day 2 was Explicit and Style. And today, Apocalypse, Instant, HH just coming through in massive ways. So DC, as much as I want WRG to win, right, I can't deny that DC actually look amazing. And I think they likely, in the form they're playing in, probably have the best chance against EN. But we'll see. I hope Ryu gets there.
Well, yeah, I think it best. If DC do drop this game onto map, the momentum probably riding with WG into the next one. So also that worth noting. But I think we're about to go through to our casters. But here's a nice stat for you in the meanwhile. 70% of you feel that 75% of you believe that WG will lose this matchup against DC. So there's a minority out there that are still hoping strong that WG will go through. And right now, because once again we're allowed to, as panelists, we're allowed to root for the underdog, and of course the team that's about to be eliminated. So we're firmly behind you, WRG. Yes. For those who are wondering, I'm simply a vessel to take the beard around. The beard operates the lips. That's how this works. Anyway, so enough of that. Best of luck, WG. Hope to see you in round 3. And I'm sure the casters will agree with us. Goals and Congo. Take it away, guys.
You don't know this, but I'm actually looking into your eyes. Into your eyes when you're talking to me. Is that better, Mr. Pritter? Always better, okay. Well, welcome back, everybody, to map number 2 here. It's White Rabbit Gaming versus Damage Control. White Rabbit Gaming starting on the CT, Damage Control starting on the T, so we know exactly what's happening. We know what their strat is, goals. It's Hellhound outside, smokes, down to lowers.
That's it. You know, they're either gonna send Hellhound by himself, or they're gonna send some teammates with him and pretty much go towards that ramp area. I mean, that's what we saw 99% of the rounds yesterday. So I'm pretty sure WRG are going to be aware of that and will be looking to punish them, and hopefully a slightly more aggressive hold outside. And you know, on this first round, we do seem to see that, you know, they're setting up for these outside smokes, and I wouldn't be surprised if
There he comes. There he comes. There he is. He's waiting in front.
Here
he comes.
Two smoke.
Oh, no, look at this play, though. They're pushing through. Oh, this is
what I like.
beautiful
That's
from
what I
center.
said.
Look at this. Gets one more player.
Lovely.
Takes down Hellhound, so that's the outside smoke shut down, but doesn't matter. Instant still snuck past, and that was incredible play coming out there. Instant still in a pretty good position, but well read there from White Rabbit Gaming. They knew the strat. They watched the replays.
Apocalypse is definitely aware that Sin is here. He ended up making some noise. There we go. He called it out to Instant, and Instant cleared the area, and you know, suddenly that advantage has been lost. So let's see how WRG react here.
Well, one player coming up close as well. Synoptical wants to get the frag. Pretty risky this close up against that USP, but does get chased down by Style, and Style opens up that ramp area as well. So I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say this was a really, really good, I would say, plan
Expected.
by Rabbit Gaming. Yeah, they try to catch DC at their own game, but unfortunately the execution was just not there. If Sinner was able to grab up that second player that he tagged to the smoke, I think it was Inson. Yeah, if he managed to grab up Inson, it would have been a completely different game.
Yeah, I mean, sure. And I think once he landed up not committing, to the second player, he could have potentially have fallen back. But, I mean, yeah, they're going into the top bomb sites where Hulkies is holding alone.
Oh, Reeves sets his position into the shack, but that's going to allow them to push him back as well. And he doesn't go to stop the bomb plant either, and as he gets murdered as he comes out that door, so no problem there. Now Fat Cake's the last man left alive up against 3. I think it's going to be quite a tall order here. And what is the plan? What's he going for? Looking for something?
He's looking for kits, I think.
Yeah. Maybe an upgraded pistol or 2, but he's going to go into the site though. Who knows, he might be able to take this down. He goes to the first player, doesn't get the frag, and Inston's there to shoot him in the back. And a nice, I would say, at point, risky round for damage control. There's Halan's plan for going outside got thwarted really early on.
Yeah, look, they invested a lot into that round there. I mean, they had 3 players, I think, without armor, using 3 of those smokes, and WRG with the right idea there of trying to punish them, but it lands up not really boasting that much advantage, and DC just doing the correct play. Once that trade happens, they just go quiet, they go chilled, and they wait for the CTs to try and get some sort of information. They get the pick ramp, and it's just kind of a lost cause at that point once they breach the top from all the angles. So very, very nice stuff from DC. Calculated, expected, but they did it, and they managed to take the round.
Beezes with a long-range deagle here, trying to get that shot, but he's just been tagged away with that UMP by APOC. Both guns, I mean, just missing, but the UMP not doing that much damage at distance. We'll see now, Beezes just looking for someone. They're still kind of half expecting the Halan outside push. But Style is up on the rafters now. They're trying. It's a difficult shot to make. I mean, you're looking at a pixel, but Sinner does open up on Haland as well. Takes him out. He's still playing this outside position here, playing it so well. There's a gap in the smoke goals as well, so this could be huge. Depending on who sees this first, and obviously know that they are kind of jumping around him here. But look at this, not be able to capitalize unfortunately, and they will go down. So that's a trade, favorable trade. Sinner with a very forward position there, and Beezes needs to be careful as well because now he's taking a bit of damage from that outside spray with the UMP.
Yeah, look, I mean, DC doing the right thing here. They're sticking towards outside, keeping that distance, with their rifle or with the SMGs and with the guns that they have. Really, really basic and good stuff going on here. See, I mean, that's why you don't want to take those close range battles. I mean, a P250 and instantly down. And I'm very surprised he didn't manage to convert that kill there. Is Valkyries and Style very, very aggressive there, even though he's on 6 HP, but he hears the reload. He knows the CZ's a real hazard when you have to reload. So, he manages to pick off Hulkies there in the vent, and we got ourselves a 2v2.
Oh, I think that a 2v1 right now. A-Spark comes down, not going to be enough. He did get a little bit of a touch there, but
clean round there by DC. And I mean, you can see as he reloads, that's in Style realizes he's not out the vent. He just pre-fires him and clears him out.
Yeah, smart play as well. I mean, using one of the bullets from that hand cannon to bust open that vent is always, it's a little bit of waste. Bullets doesn't have a lot of bullets in that gun, and usually, if you're not going to shoot for the head, you're going to need the entire clip to try to kill someone at least. That gun used to be so much more powerful than what it is right now, but still, pretty decent gun. And another eco here for White Rabbit Gaming. That's their last for the game. Sinner again with the forward position. And this is something that could really, really pay off for WRG in the later rounds once you get that rifle up. If Sinner has support on the outside from Beesus and he's playing this forward position, he could continuously catch out at least 1 or 2 of the DC players. The only problem is he needs to work on not giving away his own life.
Yes, you see, the thing, what worries me about that is I feel like it was a really, really good counter, but I feel like he showcased a little bit too much now. I mean, if DC aren't aware of the fact that he's playing, he's playing aggressive outside by now, then, they'll never be aware of it. So I think DC are going to notice that he is playing very, very aggressive, and they're going to look to punish him for it. So, as much as I like the counter, if you're aware of the counter, then it's, it becomes a completely different story. So, I mean, I'm very, very interested to see what they do on their gun round and how they hold this outside.
I think Beezus has taken damage from every player on damage control this round. He is literally on 8 HP now, and they threw about 4 grenades at him. Mollies, grenades, flashbangs. Nice pick out there by Fat Cakes. That's pretty big. He avenges his teammates, fallen teammates there. Beezus still 8 HP, hanging on a thread here. And the bomb's going to go down on the bomb site for now. So they DC are taking really, really long in these rounds. When you look at the score, it's like, oh, DC are 3-0, but they're taking so long in these rounds. They're pushing it right down to the...
Ooh.
Oh.
A little bit of a tilt.
Look at Beezus there. He's freaking out. Is he crying or laughing? I don't know.
Having a little laugh there.
Oh, that's brilliant. Watch this. Ah, missed it. But
We'll get the reaction now. It was quite funny.
maybe he just wanted the gun away from him, but that was quite funny right there. Bomb will go down, but again, damage control just taking so long on these rounds, and I like it. They're pushing it right to the limit because what they're looking at now is a WRG team that's playing a little bit aggressive on the outside, but at the same time, they're trying to back it up with aggression from the other players too, and damage control are just punishing them for it.
Yeah, look, I mean, damage control being very disciplined there and just, holding on to the round and, building themselves an economy, surviving with as many people as they can. So, I mean, here we've got Sinner outside. We know Hellhound's coming and, it looks like he's still choosing to play slightly aggressive here. So, I mean...
Every round without failure, Hellhound does this lowest push, and I love it.
I just think there was a slight gap on the smoke then. I don't know if Sinner... No, I mean, he's obviously called that it's a possibility that he's going down and, he's now in that flank position. So, I mean, here we see again, they're probably going to land up moving towards that ramp room area, just like we said at the start of the game. So we've got Hellhound waiting downstairs. And let's see if they can get this. Ooh, and this Synoptical already rotating toward the lower side.
They're expecting Hellhound to come up, which is, I guess, the whole play here is to get that
And
push. Sinner, kicks up Sinner as well. So Hellhound in the lowest takes down Sinner. Actually, no, he's back out on top. He's just running people outside. I thought he was still down
He's
lowest.
still playing on the stairs area, and he's not committing to that position at all. And that's really, really loved by him. I mean, he by doing absolutely nothing but walking lowers, he forced the rotation, multiple rotations from ramp, from Sinner outside, and he's managed to just pull apart the defense of WRG, and that's just how powerful that position is.
Yeah.
So,
okay, we can get another look at the TK here.
and look at the reaction. He's just having a good old laugh there.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, some good team spirit there in the booth.
Yeah, but
nice to see.
But how long is that going to last them goals? They just lost the first gun round, and DC, we know how scary DC can be on their CT side, and I would say every round you give them on T is just going to make the game that much harder for you. And I think WRG, the mob bus here.
This is the... Oh, I would have loved to have seen the reaction. Oh, yeah, this is a nice, lovely push that's coming out from WRG. And again, anti-ecos, why not do something just together and push that lobby area? And what most teams do is, and I really, really like the idea there, because a lot of the time they are sending a Hellhound outside, which requires, Hellhound to go there and 2 guys to throw smokes, meaning, there's only maximum 2 of people that could be holding lobby. So if you're pushing them from Shack, you're pushing them from Dawn, you're pushing them from Ramp Room, there's a good chance that you could get those guns for free. But unfortunately, DC holding down some nice crossfires in the lobby area, and there's a majority of the players. So, we finally got ourselves an AWP outside. They're going to flash him out. And I'm pretty sure the smokes will come raining in. And he has the variation of the strat, Carl, where they send 2 teammates with him.
There's one person up on rafters trying to get for that high ground push there. But look at the Sinner waiting for them there. But he gets brought down. And that's the big one right there. I mean, that's what they're hoping for. They're going to leave Hellhound behind for right now, as Hulkies looks to try to bring him down. And Beezus still keeping the cross with the AWP. But it gets taken down by APOC. Get to see his body just fly back there. That's a bit unfortunate. And now trying to pressure Hulkies again. Hulkies will answer, but it's immediately refragged by Hellhound. And 4 players still alive here. Just APOC gone down. Bad Cakes is there. Waiting for his teammate. He's going to run into the player right there, but it's going to be Synoptical that takes down Ensign. And that's the bomb goal. So even though there's only 2 of them left alive, they do have control of the bomb. And it's on the wrong side of that smoke there. So
look, I mean, DC still got quite a bit of time here. And, Synoptical's HP not looking too great. But I imagine they're just gonna land up flanking them from pretty much all the sides where they hold this bomb. I think the actual best bet for WRG is actually to just forfeit that control. I mean, there's no need to actually hold on to it too much now, because you're putting yourself in very close quarter combat, and DC are gonna land up coming there. I suppose they've got the util to try and stop it, which they're using now. And it's actually becoming a little bit scary for DC here.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, wow. Really, really impressive stuff from WRG there. I think DC perhaps may have left it a little bit too long instead of just, going outright and going for the frags. But lovely from Synoptical. DC realizing that they have no time left. and you know, managed pushing through that molly and unfortunately getting punished, and one CT round goes to WRG.
Yeah,
But
and
the cursed reset on the table still.
yeah, it's still on the table, and DC still have a pretty healthy economy as Beezus takes up the scout instead of that LB5. It's unfortunate that, but now we see DC. They get into the radio room pretty quickly. That nade's going to be good, though. That nade's going to be really good. I think that's around 73, unfortunately. I thought I might do a bit more and just kicked it away a little bit there before it landed, but again, it's just now figuring out what are DC going to do. They've gone for the outside play. It looks like they may have. Yeah, there it is. Oh, Beezus needs to land one of these here to make it a little bit easier for his teammates with the slightly. Actually, they got a pretty good gun. It's just Beezus with the scout. Everyone else is pretty rigged out right now. But Fat Cakes gets ripped apart by Explicit. And that was in, I would say, was that an aggressive little push coming out there from him? I wouldn't say where he died, but maybe perhaps a little aggressive push, which saw Explicit take down. And Beezus gets answered as well on the outside. So
I think it was both of them got, you know, picked off towards that outside area. But you know, DC really not getting met with any sort of resistance in terms of the outside control here, and they're really dominating the area. But I mean, look at Style, you know, really aggressive here, and just, you know, picking apart the side of WRG, and unfortunately that is the reset. You've got a really poor bankroll here in the camp of WRG, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they call the timeout here, and they have, I think.
is this going to be a tech or tack?
White Rabbit Gaming timeout. It's a tactical pause here, and you know, they need to be discussing things, because it feels like DC are doing the same thing every round, and WRG know that they're doing it, but they just don't have a plan to counter it. You know, I liked their first reaction was to send Sinner. You know, once they saw some sort of outside control was being taken, they tried to send Sinner downstairs, but it wasn't straight off the bat. And I feel like if he just ran straight there, maybe smoked for his teammate in ramp and leave ramp a little bit weak, but push towards the secret stairs, you get there pretty much the same time that Hellhound's breaching past that red crate, and you know, you land up with just one decent flash, and you can pick off him and potentially two others as well. And another thing that I really feel like is not being punished is Apocalypse is having just absolute free reign on that silo. He's just, you know, standing up there, and he's just waiting for any sort of peak, any sort of, you know, challenge or overextension, and he's just, you know, punishing them for it. But DC really focusing on the main part of the map, and that's outside control. And right now, you know, WRG need to find an answer for it. Whether that answer is to actually just forfeit and wait for them to breach into the sites.
Yeah.
You know, that should be a consideration. Yeah, considering the amount of utility that DC are utilizing to take control of those areas. So perhaps that if you're not fully committing to the resistance, you know, perhaps fall back and try and hold down in the sights.
Yeah, and that's the one thing as well. I was looking, they're looking to challenge DC outside, where DC are using their long angles and their I would say their slightly superior aim to just punish White Rabbit Gaming. But you know, when they're playing from the sights, they have that structure that they've been using throughout the we've seen the weekend. They're, you know, using their angles, using their corners, using their utility perfectly to kind of flush damage control out. But instead, they're looking to challenge them outside continuously, looking to push them, and they're getting punished because DC are just showing their resolve, showing their discipline, and just hanging back and waiting for those pushes. So 100% agree that something needs to change. Maybe force them into the sites, you know, not allow them so much rain. I mean, you're giving up a lot of map control, yes, but you can still play them tight from those angles within the bomb sites.
100%.
I don't think we've seen a single bomb plant kill. I think it's just been, you know, DC just absolutely killing the whole of.
Yeah, they're not
WRG.
even allowing that to be a thing, you know, and it's, even though it's denying them economy, you know, at some point you need to try a little something different. And for me, what I really like to see on that eco round was them all pushing lobby. But why not do that with guns if they're abusing the outside as much as they are? You know, quickly pick off this guy in lobby. I mean, he's always here. Look at Style. He's in such a weak position right now. If White Rabbit Gaming had to commit to some sort of, you know, push from all the angles, but DC hitting the ramp side and taking that ramp control. Hulky's taking off the head of Style. And
wrong shoes for this club, says
yeah.
Mob Boss Hulkies. Wrong shoes. Brings him down, and yeah, I 100% great. 100% great. They catch them off guard because they know they're going for that setup outside every single round, and they're leaving two players in this lobby area. Perhaps even not. Apoc's up on top, and you got the two players from one player, just Explicit, actually playing on the inside by the radio room, and you can push him and punish him. Get that control of the map, and then, you know, then you kind of denying them, you're forcing them towards that B bomb site. Right now, we're going to see Explicit moving down towards the lows. It's just an eco here for
Hellhound
WRG.
in an extremely good position. Yeah, he's going to look, and he's looking to open up this top bomb site. from the mouth area, and he's coming past the gates. He's Hulkies with another clear up frag now, but he's got the information. He knows that 2 are top, really close to Vent. So, I mean, you can relay that information to his teammates, and DC should get into quite a comfortable post-plant position here.
Well, just going to hold angles for now, but shotgun paying off here. It's a lot of cash as well for Hulkies. It's going to help them out for the next round here. They're not too far behind just yet.
And it's a double up in the toxic room there, and
With Sinner though turns it into a 2v1. This is all of a sudden doable for WRG, and they're holding in that fuse. They're sticking it down, and they do it. Nice.
That's so unfortunate there, but a lovely Molotov. I mean, unfortunately, the side of DC stacking 2 guys in that toxic room, and one molly just putting a lot of pressure on them and lands up costing the round. That was an impressive shot by Hulkies, but his frag prior to that was also very high.
It's like one from long range. All right, fine, okay, that's good. Got a headshot. Then the next one's straight into the chest. So nice work with the shotgun.
You see, with that round win, though, DC's economy is still looking very flush, and WRG lost all the players in that round, and you can see now they've got little to absolutely no utility, and DC are sitting really strong. But I mean, Bees is with this AWP, he's going to need to make something happen, because the defense of WRG is very thin in terms of utility.
Well, they're going to go for the push outside again. No surprise here from damage control. And Bees is still with the AWP, naked AWP as well, no armor, so it's going to be a tough one. If he gets aim punch at least once, he's going to get a really tough time. But Hellhound already down below, not meeting any resistance just yet from WRG. But I like this, Fat Cakes with the P90. Channel your inner spoof, get the frag, or 2 just running at people. But Synoptical as well, I felt like there's a couple of players who just haven't really featured much this match. I mean, Synoptical's been a core position down here on lowers, but usually we see him going absolutely nuts. But they have got boosted up one player. They boosted up Hulkies up to the top there. So if Synoptical can offer some support here, they've got a really good crossfire here. But Hulkies is... Oh, he's on the other side. I thought he was boosted in the corner there. But Beezus opens up one, takes down Style. And for some reason I thought Hulkies was backed up there. But now pushing up Beezus with that Molly, and that will see Synoptical trading all the way back down towards B. And that's another pick there. As I say, Synoptical's not featuring. He takes it down and going to get a 3rd here possibly. Won't be enough though. Apox there. And now just decisions really. Decisions ready for Apox. He's got to face on 4 players here. Won't be able to get it. And WRG make it 3. And I should call out players more often. The minute I call them out, they just stop playing well, yeah.
Look, I mean, they haven't really been that active on his side of the map, and he's always forced into some sort of rotation or support role there. But I really feel like WRG have now got a hold of this one-dimensional side of DC. Like they're just continuously putting a guy outside, and then they're hitting the ramp room. So it seems as though they have kind of forfeited outside.
Oh no! Hold on 1 second. Here it comes. Fast breach into A.
Fast upstairs Russia, and they really like this, but not able to convert those initial flags, and
they're just getting cleaned up now.
Surprise! We've got Hellhound outside.
We're still doing work though. It turns it into a 2v2. I mean, Style on 18 HP. He's by the door, so Hellhound needs to make these frags happen here. Not going to be enough. Sinner takes him down now in a 1v2. Style with 18 HP has to do this. He doesn't have the bomb. He doesn't have much to do either. He can maybe sneak a jump up here. He knows where the one player's on the rafters. He's got the one player cut off. He's got the other one sort of approaching him. But he has to be careful though. Dance around the smoke here. Looking for that one player. He knows exactly where he is, but he can't get him. Oh, and he just spots the head too late. The Sinner takes his off. That's another great round there for WRG. Time to pick up a little bit of pace here on the CT side. And I would say nice change up there from DC goals, but just unfortunately wasn't enough.
Yeah, look, I really like the idea there, to rush top with the guns. It was, in my opinion, one of the better things to do, and they caught the site alone. The only thing that prevented them from getting through there is the molly that cut them off at door and split up the attack quite badly. So the guy that was running on rafters never got punished for his position, and unfortunately the attack just became very weak from that point forward. So here we've got just DC resuming back to their normal.
Oh, they expected that though. Bees is trying to get a little cheeky outside with the UMP. They saw the flash come in first, so then they kind of thought there must be a person looking to push them here. But Fat Cakes now dropping to lowers. Wants to get this first frag. One player sneaks past, gets the first. Doesn't re-peek for the second. Smart play there from him. Wants to rather wait to see some support come down towards the B bomb site. Now we see Sinner though not answering on that lowers. That's going to give another wraparound there for Style. And he's been chased by Hulkies though. And Hulkies in a 1v4. And I guess the call is to... Oh, he's been spotted. Saving's going to be a bit tough now. Oh! Oh, that nade was close. And missing the shot there, so Hulkies wants to escape and save, but they know exactly where he's going. So
they're gonna probably try to look for him here and try to take his gun away. And what I really like to see there is that DC they're very comfortable with their default, and their default is sending people outside with those cover smokes. Right?
Oh no!
What I really like to see. Sorry, while they hunt, I'll just chat while they hunt all the Hulkies in spawn. Is what I really like to see is that they are trying to change up the variations. So basically, they've been sending only one player and max two towards that lower stairs area, and it's predominantly just Hullhound playing there in a solo position. That round they decided to send four, and I think it was Beezers that tried to just kind of take the 1v1 duel, but it landed up being four of them. And you can see on the rest of the map they were quite aware, or they thought that they were being aware of potentially a ramp hit or a top hit or whatever the case is. Meantime, a majority of the team was in fact outside, and once they all just head towards that lower bomb site, it's very, very weak, and with still holding ramp, it was quite easy for DC to get into that site and secure the bomb site.
Well, DC keeping all angles now, waiting to see if White Rabbit Gaming are going to get on the aggressive with their eco around here, but they are just holding up some angles. They've got some guns, a nice little close spot here for Hulkies as well, looking for that breach through Shack, and it might just pay off. And they did boost up another player up towards that ramp. Beezers up in the corner. This is the spot I was talking about earlier where I thought Hulkies was, and that would have actually been really, really well.
Cakes capitalizes there on Hallan pushing mouth. Very, very nice angle there, crouched on the box.
Brings him down, scores an AK-47. It's already looking much, much better here for White Rabbit Gaming. And this can, they're going to check it. They have to check it. Yeah, there we go. They're spotting it. But he almost gets the frag on Explicit. Really, really close. Drops him down pretty low, but it's going to be a lowest breach right now. 4v4 and an AK in the hands of an Optical. He's got quite a bit of kit too. He's got the 2 flashbangs, which can make a huge difference in this retake should they go down. But are they going to see a player coming up there? The DC are wrapping all the way to mouth. What is going on here? They're going all the way back outside. I think Alan was like, guys, we haven't been outside yet this round. Let's quickly go outside. Run there. Now they go through the mouth. This could actually be a really nice little pick there with the 3Z, but it wasn't going to be enough as they come in. There's a TK as well. Instant taking down Explicit, but kind of expected. He was in such low HP, but now Sinner coming in.
Should have heard him, yeah, and he's most likely just going to toast him, and yeah, he picks him off. Some really wild adaptions there from DC. I really like it. They just start causing a bunch of chaos, running outside, keeping the angles at a distance, and before you know it, they're breaching in through mouth, and they're just, dueling as a team, dueling as a unit, and just finding those individual frags. And even though there was a Tika in the midst to make things messy, they'll end up cleaning the round relatively easily. And yeah, another round on the board for damage control.
Well, 2 healthy bars coming out here. Bees is back again with that AWP, and here we see Hellhound on the inside. Jokes on the outside.
Yeah, cash me outside. Catch me outside.
That's brilliant. It's APOC now once again the raft. You spoke about this position APOC was playing earlier and just how well he was doing it. He's going to challenge Beezers here, which is going to be... No, he drops down to mouth instead. And it's quite a smart play as well, because we saw him do this with the P250 the other day.
Yeah, and he's got an AK now, and Beezers is, taking a lot of these pot shots just for information. He has no idea that Apocalypse is about to flank him, and here's where he's going to get penalized for it. He's going to come from the outside peak, and
wow.
And this
that's
is
like, how did he get there? Like, that's a play like saying to you, how did he get there? It's an Optical though, playing a little whack-a-mole there with APOC, brings him down. So the job done. Got rid of the AWP, which is probably the big one right there.
But also another extension. I mean, once you get that frag, the guys are definitely going to call, especially because it was such a surprise that there's no need to peek the guy in ramp. But I mean, with that being said, like you say, job done, and they've got hold of the top bomb sites, and we now have a retake for the side of WRG.
Oh, and be careful there. One player outside still taking a couple of shots. Sinner does take down Halal. Man outside, and actually this turns into a really winnable round right now. Instant though, spots out the first player. Those are the second ones coming in. What a retake for him.
Very, very unfortunate for him there. I mean, as he's peeking the very, very small angle there in Shack, he's exposed to the one in mouth.
Yeah.
Unfortunately gets dinged twice. They're good aim there on the side of WRG there to capitalize on that round.
8 rounds as T for DC it's looking comfortable, to say the least. But now we see WRG building a bit of momentum. This could become quite a scary game. I wonder if they save that AWP for Beezers. They might have just bought up a new one. Yeah, he's grabbed up a new one. No problem. He's got quite a bit of cash. But at the same time, yeah, really, really heads-up play there from APOC. The only problem was that it was APOC. Yeah, he snuck nice and close, but he just maybe a little bit of an overextension, looking for more information. Then perhaps should have left his team to kind of catch up to him a bit, and then look for a breach somewhere else. So he had the attention of the team drawn away from his position. But the call was there. They knew he was there, and he just got murdered for that. And HH outside, or Lowers rather, takes down Beezers. And that's the AWP gone down again at the start of the round. But that did not deter WRG in the previous round. Once they lost that AWP, they still managed to pull it through and win it. And Fat Cakes is here now. He's the one that's going to have to answer with this Lowers push right now. Halland's already all the way up. In a very good position too.
Surprise. Halland's downstairs.
So Optical was around here a second ago. Oh, he's gone back up. Okay. He was around there a second ago. Obviously just resetting his position towards that A breach. But the rest of DC... Wow. Nice little shot there from Synoptical on the outside. Will take down Apocalypse. It's just been an absolute menace as well alongside Halland for that outside control and information.
The only problem here is that WRG are extremely stacked towards that towards the top bomb site, and DC don't seem to be committing to that lowers, and it feels like their attack that has such an advantage seems to be running a bit thin here, and Sinner just with a late flag really punishing DC here.
That was huge from Sinner as well. The player sitting to his right just didn't even peek. I don't know where he was looking, but I think the call was a bit too late as he came up, murdered Inson, and then kind of stuck it out. And really well played there by WRG. They're going to try and make this an 8-7, and then I think we've got a real game on our hands here. Look at this.
Definitely.
Player not even looking towards him.
Sinner just, really getting in between the gap there. You see, the big problem with this round is that Halland's managed to sneak all the way downstairs, clear out the entire bomb site, pushed all the way up ramp, and, in between that, there's a lot of ways in which the CTs can actually come from those positions. So you can clearly see that DC are not expecting anyone coming from lowers because, they've sent Hellhound there, and Sinner comes up, then he catches three players completely unawares, and just as surprising as that heaven shot wasn't going to you, that was a little bit even more so. And fast top rush down the venture, instantly going to go for the plant downstairs and just try and hold it down while the guy from ramps already rotated.
Yeah, and it's going to be sitting Optical once again, having a pretty good round last round, and he wants to get these plants, but really heads up play there from Damage Control, showing that they can adjust when needed. And that they keep these little pot strats for when it's really necessary to get a round down. But right now doing quite a bit of damage. Explicit with a double and answers as well. Halland takes down Beezers, and now all of a sudden it's a 3v1. It's an Optical to clutch, take the round and get a favorable score, I'd say, for WRG going to the next round there. But it's going to be a 9-6 instead for DC. Really nice, fast adaptation there from DC. I really like that.
Really strong half there from DC, and they dominated outside completely at the beginning of the half, and they really never took their pedal off of it, and you can clearly see that they dominated it just purely based on Beezers' score here. He's been trying to contact or take that contact, and unfortunately he's sitting at 1 for 14, and it's been a really difficult outside to handle. So at the end of the day, I felt like the adaptation for them, they did string a few rounds together after they kind of abandoned outside, but I still feel like it was a little bit too late in that regard. But 6 rounds is more than enough to work with, so they've just got to try and focus getting this pistol round and just claw back. Last game they were much further behind, and they did a lot more with less. So Style. Oh,
yes, Style.
Listen, just shattering the confidence here of
They didn't have
WRG.
that first cross smoke. They didn't have that first smoke to allow them the free entry there, and that was just literally bot. I want to say bot practice, because that's what you do when you practice against bots. You
It was
just
a gift.
shoot at head. Yeah, I'm not
was a
I'm not calling WRG bots. Just saying it was like practice.
Yeah.
Just one tap, and beautiful play there from both Style and Explicit. And well, they're still out there. They still want more. They still want to shoot some more.
We're getting a little bit of a return bot practice there from Sinner, just to even out the playing field here.
He's going to get caught from behind. Yeah.
Clean sweep here from the side of DC, keeping that economy going already at the start of the game. And
Look at that.
lovely one tap.
Good
shot
crossfire as well. Explicit coming out from mouth. Style sitting out in garage.
Yeah, look, at that point, you're so safe to take shots towards that area. You can hide and run away to pretty much anything from that point. So, taking a couple of pot shots, why not? And if you land 2 sick one taps, also why not? So, WRG here on a full force buy.
Yeah, I think it's the right time to kind of test Damage Control's reaction to these kind of plays, because they are still only 4 rounds behind. It's 10 for Damage Control, so they're probably saying, let's see how these old men deal with a nice fancy rush onto A or anywhere really. But they're not really doing that just yet. They're just trying to get 4 positions here on the A bomb site. Bomb hasn't really made any way yet. Still one player outside looking for those deagle shots as well. It's Fat Cakes. Wants something at least. Might get one. Oh, Style. The upper hand there.
Looks him straight in the eyes then, and takes his head off. It's very.
Oh, they are going to breach down to lowers. Hulky's already jumped down the vents. He doesn't have the bomb. It's actually on Sinner, which is going down towards lowers. And Instant is there holding the angle. He's going to reset his position right now. Yesterday he played in that position right on the left there. He just went down in there. That had a pretty forward nice position too. Sinner though, pretty much all over the map though, clearing out DC wherever they're standing right now.
Oh, and he's behind the box there, and he's just holding that angle. And now WRG going to have to commit to the lower bomb site. Instant taking another one down with him and puts Sinner in a really, really tough 2v1 situation with all the information in the hands of DC.
2 of them coming there, one through that new cheeky room. Entering the 4th down. Style rounds out the round against Sinner, but a really, really good round there for WRG.White Rabbit Gaming. They did quite a lot of economic damage to DC. I mean, on the CT side, that is always, I would say, if you can't get a win, you just got to kill as many people as you can, just so you can get their economy shot.
Yeah, for sure, and they unfortunately Style getting quite a bit of cash there with his automatic shotgun up on explicit. Really looking to probably play on top of that shack area and pay back Hulkies for his one or two shots that he managed to get off there.
Go straight into shack after that molly and look for something, because they look like they are setting up around there. Explicit is going to keep an eye on the door for the time being, and nice little outside breach as well by Fat Cake, quite enough deeper to get spotted out by Style. Style not be able to connect to the head just yet.
Yeah, and Apocalypse is going to come and peek with him. Yeah, DC really, really giving. This is what I expected from WRG to kind of deal with DC's excessive outside, takes.
Yeah.
And they just double peeking either from mouth on the boost on rails, and then a guy that's playing in that garage area, and it's really, really dealing with any sort of aggression outside. Obviously, later on in the rounds where they don't have an AWP, when they have an AWP up, it would be a little bit more risky. But at the moment, they're really not giving any sort of outside control to WRG, forcing them into ramp, forcing them into lobby, and they're sitting here waiting. I mean, Instant ready for the ramp breach. He's got some close rotations to assist him, and this is how they're just meat grinding them here in these areas after taking that outside control. So lovely anti-eco hold here from DC, keeping it distant and keeping it together, and not really losing much in that round. Well, anything in fact.
Yeah, well, Instant and APOC cleaning up the ramp there. And now we're going to see a buy coming out from WRG, and quite a bit of cash on DC, but instead they don't choose to upgrade yet. They're going to stick with what they got. They're going to stick with the AWP. Actually, there's an upgrade there, but they're going to stick with the shotgun, explicit on the shotgun. So
it's very, very viable on nuke, especially if you're playing on that shack and door area. It's extremely viable. So no surprise here. And if they do land up losing to this gun round, it's not too much of a train smash. They can see what the general idea or default of WRG will be, and they can kind of adjust to that. But I mean, Style holding this outside with this AWP and getting a little bit of information here. And this is Apocalypse getting lovely information outside.
Oh, not going to be enough.
Unfortunately gets picked off there, but a lot of information gathered from DC, and they should be stacking heavily towards this lower bomb site.
Well, Style is making his way back down. He wants to catch the guy coming in from that radio room. And there might not be one as they are pushing towards that lowers right now. Backcake's leading the charge once again. In the star, but look at this position now from Explicit. This is exactly what we wanted to see. And he's going to murder somebody any second. They're going to go down. Yes, that's one down for Explicit. Now they know where the shotgun is, so now they've got to be scared of those close angles. And on the top side as well, Instant takes down 1-2. Nice little spray from Halan there inside A. And things started falling apart here a little bit as Explicit. Is that another mob boss kill there? It was. Steals an AK-47 for his troubles as well. And now this first buy round here, Bees is left alone, has to do something big here. I mean, hasn't really featured much in this map yet, and it's time for him to shine. As I know, he's definitely a crowd favorite. And yesterday, a wild crowd actually. It's fortunately 13-6 DC, and they get reset. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, what happened there, I mean, WRG managed to get the first pick outside, and they landed up committing to that lower bomb site, and they had, two players that were very disjointed from the guys that were breaching lows, and once the attack got cut in half by Explicit, you know, it felt like everything just stopped, and you know, the end goal was just completely forgotten. So you know, they landed up just getting picked off one by one, and you know, what I'm really surprised by is that, you know, Hellhound's still sitting in the exact same position as he did the entire day yesterday and the entire day today, and you know, who am I to question it? I mean, he's having a lot of success in those areas, so you know, no one really
fix what's
punishing.
not broken.
No, exactly. I mean, no one's really punishing him for it. And here's Style with a lovely AWP pick, you know, controlling this outside, got his supports on rails, and it's just, you know, it's really, really lovely to see DC pulling out these setups when on the rounds that they need to. You know, they're allowing WRG to go there, and they're just punishing them at long range when they're saving or ecoing.
Well, home stretch now for DC, 13 rounds, 3 more just to win, and we do have WRG on an eco right now. They will be able to buy for the next round for the 14th round, big one, and they actually held DC at 14 rounds for a long time in the previous game, so we're not going to count them out just yet. They've yet to just get a proper, strong buyout, and we'll see if they can pull this game back together. Instant takes down one, and Fat Kicks inspecting his weapon, gets his head taken off. Instant just doing so much work for DC this weekend. Probably, I would say DC's MVP this weekend.
Most definitely. I mean, he's really, really been on form. It looks like he's been getting, you know, a lot of the frags a lot of the time, and it's really nice to see. Nice to see how it is.
Nicely done there by DC once again. Make it to 14th round. Round number 21 here. And if we're going to see a very healthy bar coming out of WRG here, and something that we're hoping to see, maybe an AWP in the hands of Beezers, even though he hasn't been having the most incredible game so far, he could look to challenge outside Starlord. What do you think of that goal?
I think that's the best. Well, double AWP on the T side is quite, I mean, it's going to be tough to convert that if you lose any sort of advantage at the beginning of the round, but I mean, they need to try something. It's getting desperate, right? So.
Oh, yes, Style takes down Sinner straight through the doors and threads it through the needle.
Yeah, lovely peek there from him. And, I mean, more information for him outside here. So, you know, Hulky's is, ooh, and he should be able to see his head through. Oh, Hulky's going to punish him. Nice by Hulky's there. Very difficult shot to land through all those cagey doors and stuff. So, very, very well played from him. But you know, this is the issue with 2 AWPs. You know, if the CTs don't give you those challenges and don't give you those picks, it's going to be very, very difficult to actually open up any sort of, you know, side of the map, and that's where you're forced to kind of rush inside top and get mauled by a Hellhound who's just, you know, playing on those rafters patiently just waiting for the terrorists to try and come into his territory.
There was going to be a meet-up in lowers there, but it looks like Beezers and them came back out, so they were going to meet up with one more player. Oh, Hulkies again up at the top, takes down one. That's going to be the top bomb side open for them, but they still have 3 players left to deal with
Apocalypse
now.
clearing up the heaven threat,
Nice.
Explicit, and this is it, you know. So with losing that player in the beginning of the round with that awesome aggression from Style, just holding that off angle, if you will, like, you know, he lands up thinning that defense, and suddenly you got 2 guys with AWPs, and you need to make a breach happen. And you know, Hulkies manages to get up into heaven and really open up the bomb site, but you know, nobody's holding their flanks, and DC just wrap around them and end up picking them off. I think what I really feel that should work is just some sort of fake pressure outside, draw the guy that normally comes rails to assist Style, and just hit a stock standard execute on B, just molly on top of Shack, molly on top of those rafters above Shack, and suddenly top side will become really easy to hold. And you know, trying to force this pressure on Style outside has not been working. He's just hitting the shots on Style.
Fatcakes didn't have the support there or a flash to get Style out. He went for the repeat. He peeked, missed, and then went for the repeat, and Style doesn't miss those. So usually doesn't miss those. So I mean, that was a bit risky
Too late.
play.
You said it. He's never going to miss another AWP shot.
Well, they know they've still got these 2 players playing outside. Have a look at Explicit here. He's getting into such a forward position and going for the reload as well. So no, that's pretty good. Tags him up, leaves him scared, finishes it off going back towards Mouth. Nasty done there by Explicit. Now 3v5. This is White Rabbit Gaming's tournament life on the line here. Should DC knock them out, they are going home 4th place. Synoptical has something to say about that. He takes down Apoc. So now slowing things down. Lots of smokes, lots of flashes going out to Zamali there. But Style has got open position here going back from CT spawn. He wants to see if anyone's going to rotate around.
Very, very strong hold here from DC. I mean, they've got all the information in the world. Styles just watching the flank there. They've most likely got just Hellhound sitting in the top side watching top, and then the rest are waiting downstairs. So it's going to be really tough for WRG to, you know, to hit these, to hit this, and they look like they're hitting top.
Nice,
Lovely from
Hellhound.
He's an absolute turret.
One player
He's an
left alive. Beezers takes one. Can he keep WRG in the game? He has the bomb to plant now. He hasn't had a great game so far, but it's going to get turned around and explicit. And DC will send WRG home in 4th place and will go, rightfully so, into the loser bracket final, as they've done in every single tournament this year to face against Energy Esports. I feel like we're living in a perpetual time loop here. We had a little bit of a mix-up with DC going down early on in the loser brackets, and
yeah,
you
man,
can
look
see
who's here in the top 4 is WRG. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people not really expecting that, and I feel like, you know, in that game specifically, they never really committed to any sort of outside control on T and on CT, and they kind of half-heartedly did it, and they got punished for it from on the T side perspective from Hellhound, and then on the CT by Style. And you know, DC really showing why Nuke is a scary pick, you know, to play against them, and really bringing out a dominant performance, and well played to the DC guys. As expected, go 2-0 against WRG, and they meet Energy in the loser bracket final.
Yeah. What a surprise, eh?
Surprise!
What a surprise.
Just
Who would have thought
just
it?
like Hellhound outside.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're going to hand back to the panel, and myself and Goals will see you for the grand final later. And it's been an awesome morning so far of CSGO, and it's only going to get better from here as DC go to take on Energy Esports. Okay. Well, I mean, Goals, let's look quickly. Let's talk a little bit about DC versus Energy. Okay, now we're going to go we're going to go back to panel now, all right? What up, Devon?
Hey, Carl. I like these handovers, just friendly greetings. Yeah, I think all probably a little disappointed we didn't see a game 3. Fortunately, WG, we were hoping would potentially go out with a roar. Now it's a little bit more of a whimper in the end.
Yeah, I definitely think that that game could have been a lot closer. It just didn't feel like WRG, came to play.
Yeah.
They are maybe a little bit outmatched in a best of 3 against DC. I mean, DC having a lot of experience, but the performance that we saw from WRG against DC on the first day, and the performance that we saw today, it was just two different. Especially on Inferno. I mean, it's the map that they played, and it just felt to me like WRG just something went wrong. Either DC found how to beat WRG convincingly, or WRG just didn't come to play.
I think what probably happened is after losing on Inferno, I think that really got to them. And then going into the next game, you're like, oh, guys, it's DC or Nuke.
Yeah.
DC or Nuke is, and we were speaking about how how Nuke is still a CT-sided map, and WRG wasn't actually able to take any advantage of being on the CT side. Like, they ended up, they lost, even though they were on the CT side in the first half. And then from there, it was pretty much, like, you could just see from the first round when they were on the T side, WRG, they didn't necessarily have that mentality that we can actually win this. They were kind of like, guys, it's DC or Nuke.
Yeah.
We're on the CT side now. We have to win, 10 rounds in a row in order to win this game out? We have to win 10 overall rounds, so it's like, what
See,
now?
the thing is, after you go down on CT side and on Nuke, it's a very hard fight. You know, you wanna end positive, 10-5 or 11-4, even 9-6 if you're starting on CT, but not. You don't want to go behind.
Yeah.
Because then it's, from there, it's just the biggest uphill battle, especially on a map like Nuke.
Yeah. Especially against DC, they didn't lose a single CT round.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just the strength of Nuke, CT side on Nuke,
Yeah.
Especially when you're playing against a team that's been dubbed the brick wall of CS sort of thing, So you're definitely going to struggle, and I think at that point, WRG, maybe tried to do a couple of different things. Didn't really work out for them.
Well, on that note, we will say goodbye to White Rabbit Gaming. A formidable attempt, but in the end, Sagat goes through.
But you must insert coin.
Ryan
Try again next time.
Try again later.
Fortunately, there will be many opportunities for them in the year. I know that there's one on my mind at the moment that definitely looking forward to. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Right now, I guess we have probably your favorite part of the entire event is an opportunity to win something. And this is an interesting one because it's actually a birthday boy as well. So congratulations to Richard Ferreira, also known as Beetle001, who's won himself a StatTrak M4A4 Desolate Space. Congratulations, friend.
And
Enjoy
happy
it.
birthday.
And happy birthday from all of us here at VS Gaming. On that note, we'll say goodbye to you for a little while. We'll be back at 2:30 for the next matchup. Obviously, there'll be Energy Esports versus DC. So until then, have a pleasant Sunday. We'll see you a bit later.
Welcome back to the VS Gaming interview room. I'm here with Sinner from White Rabbit Gaming after their hot victory last night against Aperture Gaming, and it was rather convincing. You guys toured them, and I must say the crowd was loving Beezus. I mean, he's a relatively new player. I just want to know a little bit about him, how you guys found him or got into him.
Okay, fair enough. So we actually first saw him play when we took on XD in one of the cups. I can't remember which one. But he played for XD. He was a sub in, and he completely wrecked us.
And you just said, we need this guy.
Well, yeah, and then, we kind of lost 2 players, and we were looking to pick up people. So when we tried him out, we saw this guy's positioning is pretty good, and, he has really good potential. So we decided to give him a go, and it looks like it paid off. He's doing really, really well.
Now, this is arguably, I'd say, the best performance WRG's done in a long time. Yep. You guys have made it through to the loser bracket semi-final, where you're going to meet Damage Control again. You're the ones who sent them to the loser bracket in the first time, but this time it's a best of 3. So, I mean, what's going through the heads of the players at the moment, and yourself specifically?
Well, I think we're just happy to have gotten this far. I think DC, they are a powerhouse. I think everyone was talking about them being a mini boss, to get into the big bosses. But yeah, DC are good, and we're keen to, show them what we've got in a best of 3. Now, watching them play Cobble against Southern 5, I think after the Southern 5 did so well, and DC utterly, decimated them on that map towards the end. So I think we're probably going to take out Cobble. But other than that, I think we'll see how it goes.